Duh.
I'd say I just turned on the stream, Lonzo. I don't think this doing the hair this thing ain't gonna work. It made me look like I got a Peyton Manning 5 head going on here, man.
No.
Look at that real estate up here.
No.
That's my whole damn hands.
Yeah, but that's not Peyton Manning. Come on, dude. Come on. Stay strong, Rob Brown. Stay strong. You're not gonna do it. You're gonna cut your hair. There's no way.
No, I'm gonna get there. I popped up on the computer screen and I look like the world's tallest, fattest toddler.
I don't know.
This is not my best look, man.
It might be bigger than mine.
Seriously, look at the.
Yeah, I just not noticed that. And
bro, if I was standing next to a
I'm
beach,
receded
they
to the
this
top.
waterfront real estate.
They might. I don't know.
Golly.
If you would like to advertise on Rob Brown's forehead,
there's plenty of damn room. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the upstate of South Carolina. Hello, America. What up, world? Great to be with you. Happy Tuesday. It is the Rob Brown Show. It is 3 hours of madness, chaos, and award-winning sports talk radio, and it starts right now. My name is Rob Brown. On the other side of the glass this morning, the guy in charge of the radio broadcast, the man that is in charge of every radio broadcast that happens anywhere ever. He is the alpha and the omega of the fan upstate, the colonel of grudges, the sultan of swag, the professor of perfection, the wizard of wave the content cash cow. He is the great one, Lonzo. Hello, Lonzo.
First of all, quick apology to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, the X for the quick camera movements, but I had to adjust. It was stuck on beard cam, and beard cam has to be a certain level. So
why grow it if you're not going to show it?
I guess that's how that goes.
Diesel doesn't keep that beard to not show it off. And for the record, good on it.
Yeah,
it's a good beard.
No, it is. I get it. I should have adjusted before I got in here because and it just shows the inadequacies of my beard because most beards are not as good as Diesel's beard.
That's correct. Yeah. That's 100% accurate. Most beards are not that good.
Best beard in the building. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah, it's that part of I don't care what anyone says. Are you just looking at everyone's beard in your mind?
I'm grading them out of
there are a couple other people who take a lot of pride in it. Yeah, but Diesel's is better.
There's really only 2 in that contest. Right?
Yes, I know.
There's only 2 in that contest, and one of them takes great pride in his.
Yeah, but they also came at the show a little bit, so I got to come with them.
I respect that.
I do. That's just how I run.
We got a lot we need to get into on the radio broadcast today, ladies and gentlemen. We got asked a question yesterday at the conclusion of the show from a P1 listener that I said I was going to get into today, and we will. He asked the question, how far gone does Clemson have to get before Dabo changes his ways? How far gone does Clemson have to go down before Dabo starts being a little more, shall we say, contemporary in his actions? And I'm going to answer that question for you, or at least try to later on in the radio broadcast at 10:20 this morning. We're going to do a little overreaction or make sense. Lonzo has 8 to 10 sports topics, questions, statements, conclusions. They're in your email that he will ask of me, and then I will tell you if those things are overreactions or if they make sense. I also realize, Lonzo, do you know what we didn't do yesterday on a Monday? Do you know what I completely botched yesterday? We did not do our hot takes.
Speaking of botching,
I know.
You're struggling over there.
I always forget. So every time I move from the office to in here, I have to change all the settings and everything. I've got to make everything different.
Sounds like hard work, Rob.
It's the worst. All right. But what we didn't do yesterday is cross your fingers. It's getting hot in here. So hot. Hot takes from the weekend. So we're going to just do those today instead. Why? Because I want to.
Well, you know what it is. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift got in the way, and it just it discombobulated everybody.
But before we get to any of that, I did want to say this, and this is going to be very brief, couple minutes. And I was going to say very serious, but not really, but a little bit, but not really, but kind of, but a little, but not really. We also got a text towards the end of the show yesterday that said, Rob, stop saying dumb words like tutty and stop playing stuff off of a soundboard. It sounds unprofessional. And then when I got done with the show, we received another text from a different number that time that said, and I'm paraphrasing because I didn't save the text because I did not know I didn't think about it at the time that I was going to do this. But the text basically said something along the line of, Rob, not trying to be disrespectful, but that texter was correct. When we tune in, we are tuning in to hear, and this I can quote, real, serious, professional sports talk, end quote. It went on to say, again, paraphrasing, I know you're capable of it, so I don't understand why you refuse to do a professional sports talk radio show. You and the station and the upstate would be better for it if you did. And I decided that I'm too petty not to respond to that.
Ray has returned.
No, well, these are from multiple numbers yesterday, all right? And since there were multiple texts,
Ray doesn't have a burner.
I mean, maybe Ray's got a Kevin Durant burner, right? Like maybe Ray has a KD phone somewhere. But I decided, screw it, I'm going to respond to it, and I'm going to respond to it for a couple of reasons. The first is because what I don't want for you guys, texters, both of you. What I don't want to do is waste your time, all right? I don't want you tuning in every day to think that one day your text is going to trigger something in me that's going to change my entire approach to the show, and you're going to go, now this is the professional sports talk radio that I'm here for, because it is what it is. Second off, and I think this is the part I want to lean on the heaviest, Lonzo, all sports talk radio that I do is professional sports talk radio. Do you know why?
Because you get paid to do it.
Because we get paid to do this. All right? Any radio show that Lonzo and I do, it could be us farting into a microphone for 3 hours. Would, by definition, be professional radio.
Yeah, that happens down the hallway. I think they have a license on that.
It's not really my gimmick.
Yeah.
But the point is, if I did.
The smell, though. The smell is.
I'll be off.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
But it would still be professional. Third, this is just a philosophy thing, and I acknowledge this, right? The philosophy behind this show is this: sports are entertainment. They are not real life. They are supposed to be fun. If my team loses, and maybe some of you are going to look down upon me for this, but if my team loses, even if Lonzo, I don't know, they were to blow a 17-0 lead in the last 11 minutes of a football game and lose. Theoretically, of course.
But the first round or whatever Hall of Fame quarterback went down, so they had to have the backup. No! Don't ever get on me about the cat noise. That's all I'm saying. Because
even if my team was to blow a 17-0 lead in the final 11 minutes of the fourth quarter of a game that they dominated for 3.2 quarters of it.
Was it domination, though?
It was 17-0 at a half, and it stayed that way because we just got concerned. All right, listen, the point here is, even if that did happen, I'm not the dude that's going to let it ruin my week. Hell, it didn't even ruin my day. I mean, it ruined like 2 hours after it, right? Like for like a while, I was like, wanting to throw stuff, but I, didn't do that because it's just a football game.
And then day drinking probably took care of that.
It sure did.
I'm just guessing.
It sure did. I partook of the elixirs of the gods, and I felt much better about an hour and a half later. And then my fiance came home from her trip. We had a nice dinner. We sat on the couch. We watched the end of Sunday Night Football. We went to bed very happy. Listen, it's sports. It's supposed to be fun. It's totally fine to take sports seriously. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't take it so seriously that you end up with a stick up your rectum for the rest of the day, week, month, year. All right? Yeah, it's a bummer your team gets bounced from the college football playoffs, especially when the goal was get there or bust. I get that. But at the end of the day, only one team can win a natty. So don't let it ruin your day.
Wait. See, what I got out of this is you're implying that those texters were Clemson fans.
No,
because that's did I mishear what you just said? I mean, maybe that was unintentional, but
no. South Carolina has also been bounced from the playoffs,
which they never were probably eligible for in the first place.
Listen,
but,
I'm not saying who was or was not texting me. I'm just simply saying that I got these texts. And what I want to drive home here is this show has been, from when I got here, irreverent, off the cuff, sarcastic. I hope. Exactly. Thank you.
No. We don't do that here.
Sarcastic. I hope. Comedic. All right. This show, if you are tuning in because you want, let's talk about the 31. Where are we run the football? And you want a week, 3 hours, 3 segments every 3 hours of that from 9 to noon every day. We're not your station, dude. Scratch that. We're not your show.
I'm glad you didn't go full on Richard Jefferson, because you get another text and you don't want one of those.
The point here, by the way, Tiki got mad and ran off his show on FAN yesterday in New York. It was hilarious. All right. But the point here is this, ladies and gentlemen. If you are tuning in because you want suit and tie, button up, business-like, professional radio, I'm not your show. I never have been your show. This is never going to be your show because Lonzo and myself prefer to have a good time. Because here's the reality. The majority of people who are listening to our show from 9 to noon are doing so at work. They're at work right now. They're in offices. They're in banks.
Stay strong, Armada.
Yes. They're driving trucks full of supplies around. The majority of people who are listening to this show right now are at work. And work is something that you have to take seriously. We don't like to, but you do. Even Lonzo and I, when we get off the air and we head back to the Fortress of Nerditude to do our after show work, it's work. We still have fun. We still watch wrestling and talk about video games or whatever while we're doing it, but we have to do the work. So when people are listening to this show while they are at their jobs that they have to take seriously, I don't want to add to that. I want to take away from that. I want to give you a break. I want to be something different than what your day-to-day office hours provide. It's, to me, supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be a break from reality. So, yes, I'm going to pull back the curtain for 10 seconds here. Am I a Taylor Swift fan? Sure. I think she's fun. I think she's got a lot of good songs.
Wow.
I think she's got some good stuff.
Like anyone thought that was a front.
I know, it's a shock. Yes, I think she's got a lot of good songs. I think she's entertaining. I think she's fine. Am I in the Taylor Swift cult, which definitely exists? No, I'm not in the cult. All right. I think she's fine. I have never bought a Taylor Swift album.
Did you watch that video yet? You got that I sent you yesterday. That Kelsey.
Clearly, I did not.
Yeah, you got that.
Oh, yes. Oh, his brother?
No, of someone who actually is in the cult.
Yeah.
That lady's in the cult.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that later in the show. All right. I honestly, and it's from a funny perspective, I think. So when I bring up Tay-Tay on the show, please recognize that the majority of what I'm saying about her and Travis and all that is just a joke. I'm just joking around, dude. Right? Like I'm not a Kansas City Chiefs fan now because Tay-Tay is at Arrowhead. Will I say it? Sure, because it's dumb and therefore to me, it's funny. So when you hit me, what kind of radio show talks about Taylor Swift? It's a joke that we said in passing. Maybe relax.
I was going to rock the Kelsey jersey this morning, but I realized I didn't want to be a part of all that.
Mr. Swift
I didn't want to be a part of all that, so I didn't.
The Mr. Swift jersey. I like it.
Which I've had for years, by the way. I just want to point that out.
When I called Derek Carr a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Second. So you
now
changed it.
Second ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Guys, this may shock you. I'm kidding. It's a joke. I don't think Derek Carr is going to the NFL Hall of Fame today unless he's on a Greyhound with a ticket. He's not going to the Hall of Fame.
Are we forced walling here? Stop it. You don't need to do because of that one person or two people texting. You don't need to do all that.
No, the point that I'm making here, and then I'm going to shut the hell up so we can talk football.
I hope so.
Oh, wow.
Right. I mean, because I got a golden ticket and it's right here in my phone that I got just the other day from someone down the hall telling me what a great job we're doing. So I could care less about what those two texters say.
All right. I do care what people in the audience say. All right. I do. I want the show.
Take a walk, man.
To be enjoyed.
Take a walk.
But,
go find. No, here's what I would like. If those texters are listening, I would love for them to text us and tell us, give us an example that we should try to set the show by. Tell us the show that your go-to that delivers, that feeds you the way that you want to be fed. I would like to know what that show is so we could go study it and worship it and copy it and give you what you want, because apparently that's what we need to do. So you text us right now and tell us what show we're supposed to be.
Did I mention the show was occasionally sarcastic?
No, I'm dead serious.
So here's what I'm going to say to those people. And the reason I bring it up again, second part of the reason I bring it up is because this is not the first time I've heard it. It's not going to be the last time that I've heard it. I've never changed the show before. I'm going to do the show the way I know how to do the show best. Lonzo is going to do the show the way that he knows how to do the show best. If there are things that you want us to add into the rundown, into the conversation, whatever, hit us up for sure. 100%. The phone lines are open every day at 844-326-3663. The MadWorldAttractions.com text line is open for you every day at 71307. And very, very rarely are you going to send me a text that asks a legitimate sports question that I'm not going to address. Have at it. But if you're tuning in asking Lonzo and I to put on a tie and cufflinks and gel our hair and wear suspenders, it's never going to happen. All right. So that's what you're going for.
Probably happened before, but
I used to gel my hair so hard.
I love
like the 80s Gordon Gekko look.
In the 80s, man. I
style.
had some suspenders that went with the outfit. It was sweet.
So if you hit us with something you want to talk about, great. But if you tune in every day waiting for the day that Zoe and I sit here and go, let's discuss Clemson's defeat in overtime at the hands of Florida State University, you're going to be wildly disappointed. If you're tuning in to hear us scream in rage, I listened yesterday. I was talking about that Tiki thing. Tiki walked off his new show on WFAN. Straight up mid-segment, took his headsets out, walked out of the room, right? Because they had some other dude on from the station who's a Jets fan, and he came at Tiki because he's like, don't sit here and tell me you care about the Jets. You were at the Commanders-Bills game. Tiki's like, you do know I can watch other games that I'm not at, right? Like I can go to this game and then I can go home and watch another game. And the guy's like, no. You just don't know Jets football. He's like, bro, I what are you talking about? And he got up and left. And it was rage bait. And I fell for it, but it was rage bait. And I'm like, I wouldn't have fun doing that. That's not to say you can't have some heated discussions. Lonzo and I butted head like 4 times yesterday on the air. You can have good discussions.
Wait, that was serious?
Exactly. But if you're looking for Rage Bait Radio, we're just never going to be it for you. If you're looking for buttoned up suit and tie radio, we're never going to be it. So the point here is, if that's what you're looking for, no disrespect, We're not your show, and we're never going to be your show, and you're wasting your breath asking us to be.
Take a walk. I'm not going to be respectful, and I appreciate Rob being, but just take a walk, man. Take a walk down the dial or later on to whenever. We'll see. Jim Rome, that show never has fun, does it? Wait, what? No, they do. DA, that show never has fun. What? No. A dude like dropped a load during the show. No, that's let's see. Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel's there too. Those guys never have fun. Not at all. No smiling, no happy there. I need an example. I really do. And just take a walk. Just take a walk down the dial and find you something, because this ain't the place to be.
All right, let's take a break, dudes. When we come back here in just a minute from right now, I do want to do this. Let's grade the rookie quarterbacks, because we got into it a little bit yesterday, right? The great one over there said, hey, look, Carolina, you could have had CJ, because CJ Stroud is putting up numbers for the Tejans right now. So when we come back,
you should have brought him flowers. Sorry,
you got lost. You got lost.
I couldn't remember if it was. I couldn't remember if it was bought or brought. So it got me.
Probably I should have brought you flowers.
No. But I'm doing it. They should have. Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to. Uptown. Yeah. Okay.
So when we come back, let's grade out the rookie quarterbacks. Did the Panthers maybe botch it? We'll talk about that when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, live read right here. Y'all stay right there. We'll take your comments when we come back. $768.98, 800-768.98, or bigblue.com. with joint pain? Well, the future of joint pain relief is here. It is QC Kinetics, advanced regenerative medicine. This is amazing stuff. Hey, it's Rob Brown. Listen, if you've been told more steroids or surgery are your only options, don't act so fast.
Kevin, you know that heavy machinery that you operate, I think you might bump your head sometimes when you get out of that. Hey, you should be careful, dude. You really should. Speaking of which, they're trimming all the branches along electric lines. And so our electric doesn't run through the driveway we use. It runs on our easement, which we've never developed. So if you don't know what an easement is, we'll look it up. So they have this big things with tires like the size. I mean, you could like stand and the top of the tire would be your head. That's how big it is.
I got to remember that it's made by Caterpillar, but a number of years ago.
That's good to know, Kevin.
A number of years ago, I was in not the Bahamas, somewhere in the Caribbean, and we ended up taking a tour of the country, and we went to a rock quarry or something, and they had one of those gigantic Caterpillar excavation trucks. You ever seen them? They're like the size of a freaking apartment building. The tires are 12 feet high.
Wow. Well, this thing was still there this morning, so I had to move my car because they thought they were going to move it out, and they never did. It was.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate, ladies and gentlemen. Marcus said, well, if everybody is throwing their 2 cents in the ring for how the show should go, I vote that y'all start with smoking fat cigars and drinking scotch. That's just my 2 cents. Well, I will be doing that alone, Marcus. But Kay, sounds great to me.
I'll have to put the glass back up.
A little morning cigar wouldn't hurt my feelings at all. I'll be like Tony Soprano in here, huh? Just puffing on a stogie, talking sports with the boys, huh? What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, let's grade out the rookie QBs so far. I gotta think that at this point, CJ Stroud is the only one with an A. And I do think he gets an A. But it does not mean that I am sold that CJ Stroud is going to ultimately end up being the career best quarterback of this most recent class. Now, I will go ahead and tell you, I did not, cannot, will not grade Will Levis. We haven't seen the guy yet. I got to tell you, after what's going on with the Tennessee Titans right now, they might go ahead and make the switch, all right? Now, I don't know that Will Levis is going to be able to come in and do anything any better than Ryan Tannehill is right now. I do know that if the Tennessee Titans are going to be putting up 3 points a game and getting smoked like they did in a game that they had exactly and precisely zero business being knocked out of as hard as they were, then why not make the switch and just see if maybe you happen to get a guy that shocks you? And I do think it will be a shock. So Will Levis is not catching grades. I think the only ones that are catching grades are Anthony Richardson, CJ Stroud, and Bryce Young. So let's jump into it. Let's start with this. Let's start with CJ Stroud. I think, Lonzo, CJ Stroud's going to catch an A- from me. All right? And it's tough to go with anything else because as of this point in time, CJ Stroud is working with not much talent, specifically on the offensive line, right? Now, I can already hear Carolina fans going, wait a minute, Rob. Aren't you using the same argument as to why Bryce Young should not be getting busted up right now? And the answer is, yeah, I am. CJ Stroud, I think, gets an A+ for a few reasons. Number one, he has taken guys that are number 2s elsewhere, and he is making them look like studs. He is taking guys like Robert Woods. He has taken guys like, what's the other cat they got? Nico Brown.
Yeah,
He's taking
let's go with that.
Yeah, let's go with that. He's taking guys like Robert Woods, who was honestly, he was a number 3 wide receiver when he was in LA. He's taking guys like Nico Collins, not Brown, like Nico Collins, and he's turning them into studs. Nico Collins right now is averaging like 60 yards a game. Hey, quick, Lonzo, tell me anything about Tank Dell.
He's got a really cool football name.
Tank Dell's a great name.
I hope Tank is not a nickname. I hope his parents called him that.
You can't be Tank and a wide receiver. Tank's a D lineman name, right? A linebacker name.
Or a UFC fighter. But
yeah. But it's not a wide receiver name. Well, Tank Dell, I'll give you a fact about him. 5 receptions, 145 yards, and a touchdown in a 37-17 upset win over Jacksonville, right? So there is bad news on the BY front. Now, I am also going to argue that there is a second big difference. The guys that are the speed guys, the guys that are the down the field guys for CJ Stroud, have speed on the guys that are supposed to be the down the field guys for Bryce Young. The guys that are in Houston getting the field vertically, extending the field lengthwise. Those guys are quicker than DJ Chark and Laviska Shenault, both guys that have dealt with injury, right? Both of those guys are number 2s, maybe number 3s on any other football team in the National Football League right now. But what CJ is doing at this point, it is very impressive, and you'd be crazy to think that it's not. But I think there is another difference. I think the other difference is that the mentality, the mindset of the two franchises in question here is it's just different. It's a different mentality. It's a different mindset. The Texans are not going, what if we build long term? Now, maybe they should, but that's not the approach they're taking. D'Amico Ryans is like, we're going all in right now. We're going on right this second. The Carolina Panthers have very frequently pointed out to all of us, this is a long-term project for us. This is why I told you all preseason. If you get into the mindset that for the Carolina Panthers, we are going to the playoffs this year, you are going to be a disappointed cat.
I get all that, but at the same time, I think most fans don't go in depth into everything. They do the eye test, and the eye test was that CJ Stroud, and I'm not going to do the too short thing because my mouse isn't working and I can't. That's why engineering's in here. Thankfully.
Too sweat.
Yes. The eye test all along was that CJ Stroud was the more NFL-ready quarterback. And I think he's proven that on a bad team. Would he have won more games for Carolina by now? Yeah, I think he would have. I absolutely do. Just because there were some things that Bryce Young could have done when he was in there to win the game, and he did not do, that I think CJ Stroud is more capable of.
I am not going to agree that CJ Stroud was more NFL ready. I'm going to say he's more NFL prototypical. I'm going to say he is more built for the NFL.
Okay, which makes him ready, right? If you're going by that, then Bryce Young will never be ready.
No, here's what I'm going to go with. I think you are currently seeing, I think, CJ Stroud's ceiling. I don't know how much better he can get. I have no idea what the ceiling for Bryce Young is. I am not making the definitive statement that Carolina got it wrong based on 3 weeks of action. I am saying I think you're seeing about the best you're going to see from CJ Stroud.
You know who's questioning that? Panthers fans. And there's nothing wrong with questioning it because you're looking at the eye test. And we talked about before the draft, when this happened, if CJ Stroud ended up going and playing well for Houston, that this is going to come back on the Panthers if Bryce Young wasn't able to succeed.
So let's talk about what has gone right for Bryce Young and see if that calms some nerves just a little bit. The Panthers started 0-2 under Bryce Young. The very first thing that I will point out here is the thing I have pointed out multiple times. You started 0-2 against two of the best defensive front sevens in the NFL with the New Orleans Saints, one of the best three defenses in the NFL. I was going to say the best.
It was a struggle, man. It was a struggle.
I was trying to decide, do I want to say the best? Because they do have something going on that nobody else does. 12 consecutive games where the opponent did not score 20 points. By the way, just while we're having fun, you know what the Saints' record is in those 12 consecutive games?
We don't do that here. That texter will be upset
that's
about
right.
that.
In those 12 consecutive games where the Saints have not given up 20 points, they're 6-6. After that loss to Green Bay. That's not good enough offensively. And I put that 100% on Dennis Allen. But this is not a Saints topic. I'll do that later.
He will get to that one.
Bryce Young has played two of the best defensive front sevens. And this is something I said last week. It's something I'm going to point out again here. I called the shot. In fact, I said it to Diesel off the air last Friday before the Burns game, when we were getting set up. Because Diesel was on the bandwagon of let Andy Dalton keep the QB1 job, right? And I know that there are a bunch of Panthers fans who agree with that. I do not.
Andy looked pretty good. And it wouldn't shock me if Bruce Young's ankle is still gimpy this week and he sits another. And people have put those video cameras that are everywhere on Bryce's ankle, and he doesn't appear to be limping. This could be one of those coaches things going, hey, Bryce, did you know that your ankle's hurt? Did you know that?
Here's the thing. Number one, this coaching staff, this front office knows, even if they go to the playoffs, they're one and done. So there's no point in playing more for the playoffs than not building for the future than there is in building around this kid, growing and developing him, and worrying about the playoffs down the road, right? You're not beating San Francisco. You're probably, not definitively, but probably getting swept by New Orleans if Derek Carr comes back.
I'm curious where this is going, because this makes it sound like you're okay with him being set down.
No. Here's what I'm okay with. This is what I told Diesel last Friday. I said, let me tell you what's going to happen. What's going to happen is Bryce Young just went up against two of the best, I'll say 5 defensive front sevens in the NFL in Atlanta and New Orleans. Now he's going to go up against Seattle, who has like the 24th best front in the NFL. In fact, let's see where Seattle sits in the defensive pass rankings right now, because I'm not 100% sure off the top of my head, but I would say that it's probably somewhere middle of the pack at the best. At the best. Let's go yards surrendered so far, 2023, passing defense. Seattle right now overall is sitting with a defense that is ranked 5th from last in the passing department. So what I told Diesel was BY went up against New Orleans and Atlanta, a couple of very good defensive teams. Seattle has given up 984 passing yards so far. New Orleans has given up 565. The Falcons have given up 510. So what was always going to happen was that Bryce Young was going to face 2 teams inside of the top 7 pass defenses in the league, and then Andy Dalton was going to go face, according to yards surrendered so far, the 2nd worst passing defense in the league. And short-sighted Panthers fans who don't know ball are going to look at that, and they're going to go, oh, make the switch. See, Andy threw for more, and they are not going to take into account the fact that BY just played 2 damn good pass defenses. Andy Dalton went up against the second worst pass defense in the league, and you guys were going to sacrifice the growth and development of your new quarterback in order to bring in Andy Dalton. So let's be serious for a minute. Let's say that switch does get made. Let's go. Frank Reich went, and he, like you guys, fell for it.
So you're saying he's also short-sighted. Okay.
If he makes this switch permanently,
right.
Yes.
I'm not talking about making it permanently, just for a couple weeks to let Bryce Young see what it's like on a sideline with a professional quarterback in there, to see how you do things. It's one thing to do it in practice and watch him in practice. It's totally different when you're in a game, when people up their speed, up their level of impact, up their level of everything, get to sit back on the sideline and watch it for a couple weeks before you get back in there. I'm not saying that you replace him permanently for the rest of the season. I'm just saying a couple weeks, and that's really what it looks like is happening.
So I would say this. If there's one thing I'm absolutely not concerned about, it's Bryce Young's demeanor on the sideline. I don't know what Andy Dalton is. Listen, I like Andy Dalton.
I think you're missing what I'm saying.
No, I'm not. I'm
saying watching what he's doing in the game.
What is he going to learn?
He's going to learn a lot.
Oh, he rolled out. Yeah, that's what he does.
Because he's a smart guy, I'm told. So he's going to watch, he's going to observe, he's going to learn, and he's going to realize that there's some little things that he can do better. And watching
like what are they? What are they?
Be a little more patient.
The one thing. What do you mean patient? The one thing that BY is doing right now is he is managing the games he's in very well. That's the only thing I don't have a concern about. BY is not taking stupid sacks.
Now you're calling him a game manager, which, from what I heard, is a bad thing.
Every quarterback's a game manager.
They are.
It's just that some can only be a game manager. You got to be a game manager who can also make plays.
But you know what? You didn't think he should be the starting quarterback at the beginning of the season anyway.
Correct.
So this argument, I don't understand.
Now that you've made him one, you can't backtrack that. You got to let him go do it.
You can do that, and that's what they kind of are doing, because I don't believe he's injured.
The point that first off, I absolutely believe he's injured. I don't think they make this way. Why would you not play him against the first bad defense that you have been up against after you threw him to the Wolves for 2 of the best that you're going to play? Why would you not let him go out against Seattle and torch them, or at least try to? That makes no sense. It also makes no sense to say, well, watch what Andy does. Watch what Andy does. If there is one thing that Bryce Young has done well that I don't think he needs to learn anything more, is to manage the football game. I think he did a spectacular job of management against New Orleans. He kept them in that game and just does not have the weapons to go up against them right now. He kept them in that Atlanta game. Yes, there were 2 picks, and those 2 picks were both bad picks. He got fooled in his first game by a covert defense, by a disguised defense. It happens to every quarterback.
Dude, the guy was just standing out there. It wasn't covert. He wasn't hiding. He was right there. If you were playing Madden, you never would have threw that ball.
Yes.
Because
he was okay. He was playing a safety who, in the traditional cover 2 that Atlanta was running all game, ordinarily drops back, but he didn't drop off. He disguised it, and 90% of the time,
who didn't disguise? Bryce Young didn't disguise where he was throwing the ball. He didn't look him off. He didn't pump fake. He didn't do anything. He threw right where the guy knew he was going to throw it. That's why he was able to intercept him twice.
Right. And did you not talk about the 4 times he made the same throw in the same spot that were complete, because this time the guy disguised the defense? And I'm not
saying now you're saying they keep throwing to the same spot? Maybe that's also
because it was working.
Was it? Not twice it wasn't.
Yes, correct. Twice it wasn't. Quarterbacks make mistakes. Josh Allen got picked off 3 times in the same week. It happens to everybody. I'm saying if that is where you're flipping tables and going, this is the bad spot, and he's going to learn from Andy Dalton, the one thing he is doing well is managing the game. The intangibles are there. I need him to get better at the game.
Hey, Rob,
and the only way he's going to do that is being in the game.
I'm trying to manage the game here, and you're not letting me. We really
because I disguised the clock. We got to come back after this on the Ron Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Thielen looked good with Andy Dalton out there, though.
Yeah,
he was non-existent.
Game manager, check down
he was
quarterback.
non-existent when Bryce Young was out there. Is he, Kevin? We'll see what he does in the playoffs. You're right, Kevin, because they're going to have the bye when your team gets beat, so they won't be there because they'll be at home taking it easy as the number 1 seed. That's how that works. I don't know if you knew that. Actually, you don't. I mean, when's the last time they were number 1? Hey, Steven. He didn't leave because he was angry. He left because he left.
That's bad.
Oh, that's great. New Heights just tweeted a picture of, which is, Kelsey podcast.
Yeah.
Kelsey like this in front of a whiteboard, and on the whiteboard it says you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky and then Michael Scott. Yeah. And the little blurb, anyone know how to get a bracelet to Taylor Swift 13? Ask him for a friend. And then new episode premieres now. I thought it was Wednesday. They rushed this one. Oh no. That's from then when that happened. Never mind. If I'm them, I don't mention it at all in the entire podcast. Although they're going to have a lot of other people listening, so
100%.
Yeah. Sweeney says his team is literally 3 plays away from being top 5 nationally. Okay. Stop dwelling on the past, Dabo. Move on to next year. People were concerned, Rob. You all right? You good? Because you seem a little more heated and a little too serious.
I'm very frustrated by the anti-Bryce people.
That's why he's not making eye contact with me. I just, I'm going to always be pro CJ Stroud. You know why? You know why? If you don't know why, you don't listen to the show. And I hope you're wrong. I hope he didn't plateau last week. What if CJ Stroud takes Houston to the playoffs?
It'd be hilarious.
Oh, it wouldn't be.
And also, D'Amico gets the credit for that.
So let me get this straight. So what if Urban would have took Jacksonville to the playoffs? Would you have given the credit to Urban or to Trevor Lawrence?
I'd have given credit to Urban. Any coach.
Okay, I'm just trying to.
But I knew good
clarification for the
well
peoples.
That wasn't happening.
Kevin, you sure you were still wearing that hard hat? Rock that thing while you can, Marcus. Rock it while you can. Dalton's only in there for a couple games. Bryce will be back, but it wouldn't shock me if he's not back this week.
All right, let me open this by saying very quickly, and I am not ashamed to admit, I am a Taylor Swift fan. I think she's a very talented artist, all right? She's got some stuff I really like. She's got some stuff I don't like so much.
Nope.
But I like Taylor Swift. I would consider myself a fan if you go that far. I'm not dropping $400 on tickets to go see her show. I'm not flying across the country because I could only get a ticket in San Diego. But if she was close and there were tickets, given to me as a perk of the gig, I'd go.
I was going to say, come on, man. We're in radio.
Yeah.
We don't pay for stuff.
So I do have to add one
sarcasm. We still pay for stuff.
We do.
We get lucky every once in a while and get some free tickets.
I am going to very briefly talk to the Taylor Swift fans because statistically speaking, based on what I've seen with the number of Swifties who are now football fans, first off, welcome. I am not a gatekeeper of the sport. I want anybody who wants to love football for whatever reason they want to love football to be able to love football. If you are getting into the game because Tay-Tay brought you over with TK, welcome to the show. It's a lot of fun. Enjoy yourself. You are welcome to be a listener to this program and anything else I do. Here's where I am going to draw a line in the sand. Taylor fans, not fans, that's not the right word. Swifties, as they are becoming. Swifties, you guys are welcome to be fans. I invite you into the club. But do not try to take it over like you've taken over everything else, all right? Social media. If Taylor Swift farts too loud, it is trending on Twitter.
Do we have to do that?
If Taylor Swift wears a new shirt, it kills Instagram. If Tay-Tay holds hands with anyone in America, they are immediately elevated to celebrity status just by being in her presence. You guys have everything right now. You own music. You own social media. You own the internet. You own television. You know how I know you own television? Because I had Chiefs Bears on one of the small screens in the bro cave. And every 13 seconds, not just on Chiefs Bears, but on every other game that was on, because those of us that love football, we might have 6 games on at the same time. On every other game that was on, they would break in and do a cutaway to tell you, to make sure that we all knew that Taylor Swift was at the Chiefs game. And good for Travis Kelce. He shot his shot, and boy, howdy, did he score. But my goodness, let us have one thing. Let us have one thing where you guys don't have your fingers all over all of it. Again, I like Taylor. I support her. I think what she's doing on tour right now is historic in the music world. We're going to be talking about this tour for decades to come. The next great tour will be compared to her tour. Not Mike's, not the Beatles. Taylor's the contemporary version of all that. But man, if y'all jump in and start making the NFL about Taylor, I'm going to lose my mind. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you. Now let it be our show. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show, it is the Fan Upstate. Jackson Mahomes was melting. Jackson Mahomes was probably standing outside of that luxury box with a battering ram trying to figure out how to get in to do a TikTok with Taylor. What a turd.
He's totally pain-free, living the life he wants. At the end of the 4th treatment, I felt pretty much healed and enthused and was raving about QC Kinetics. I can recommend them.
No look.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Call QC.
So close.
864-448-3600.
Wow, it's ready now? I've been using it for 10 minutes. Okay. It would be a shame, James. I think it's heading that way. You can feel the unrest beginning. But think about it, when the breakup inevitably happens,
we're going to get a slapper of an album.
We're going to get a good album, but we're also going to get Travis Kelce going beast mode in games.
Nah, he's too much of a gentleman for that.
No. Yeah, unsportsmanlike penalties. Like, I don't know if he did it last game, but the last couple games, yeah, he could lash out in anger a little bit on the field. We might get like the most touchdowns ever caught by a tight end in an NFL game. I do believe, Kevin, that we do. I seem to remember putting that promo in. Or putting it in our schedule. You know, you can go to the Odyssey app and go to our schedule, and you can look on the weekend, and you can look to specifically Sunday or Saturday and see what games that we are airing. So check that out. Wait. There's a Bills-Dolphins Sunday promo coming up.
It's going to be a good one. Right
here in just a few minutes. So the answer to your question is yes. I put in so many, I forget what games there are sometimes.
Tay is from Philly and is a lifelong Eagles fan. I will tell you, I did not coerce the fiance into becoming a Saints fan. I would even argue that she's not a Saints fan. She's a fan of me being happy on Sundays. Adding another team to your fandom based on your significant other is just fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The only time it's a problem is when they're a fan of your rival.
Well, it's a problem when an arbiter says it's a problem. That's when it becomes a problem, you know. If you live in I mean, right now, Rob, you should be either a South Carolina or Clemson fan and a Panther fan. And there's no there's minor league baseball. You're already a fan of that. So I guess Atlanta Braves fan. So you already got that covered. So
I would say, if the fiance was, say, a Falcons fan, which she kind of was, not that she had any affinity for the Falcons, just her little friend group were all Falcons fans, so she kind of defaulted into that group. When I started dating her, I was like, nope. No, she's like, well, can't you just like root for the Falcons when they're not playing the Saints? Nope. I hate them. James, if you got married and she turned out to be a Cowboys fan, I don't suspect you'd start donning the star. The Eagles and the Chiefs are not necessarily rivals, all right? They had a Super Bowl for sure, but they're not rivals. There is nothing wrong with Tay cheering for her new significant other's team. Now, the problem would be if Travis Kelce was a Cowboy and then she started showing up in games with the star on. Then I'd go, all right, that's not how this works. But that's not what happened. Yeah. And away we go. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show goes now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fan Upstate. How do you do, Upstate South Carolina? Hello, world. I'm talking to America here.
I'm talking to America here.
We've got a lot to get to in this hour of the show. As yesterday's show came to its ever dynamic and impressive conclusion.
No, the masses were sad, but they knew that the next day we'll be back. And here we are.
21 hours. As separation makes the heart grow fonder, does it not? After 21 hours, we are back. And as we hit our conclusion yesterday, a texter, a Clemson fan, wrote into the show and said, Rob, and I am paraphrasing to some degree because, again,
I thought you were going to say, and I am Rob.
I also am Rob. That is correct. So it was a well-directed text, what with the whole reaching its intended destination. It said, Rob, I am a fan of the Clemson Tigers, and I have a question for you. This is dramatic acting, by the way.
Man, I need some fanfare music because that would just go some trumpets. Dun, 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 dun.
Said, I am a fan of the Clemson Tigers and have been for his entire tenure a fan of our head coach, Dabo Sweeney. But, alas, my affection wanes in what feels like the disappearing moonlight of our prime. So my question is thus. What? Yeah, I blew it there. The question was, how bad's it got to get before Dabo changes his ways? How bad's it got to get before Dabo embraces the new age of college football?
How do you do with change? I mean, as you get older, do you find change is more difficult for you? Or are you just go with the flow guy, whatever? Okay, this is going this way, I'm going that way. Or are you steadfast in your beliefs and believe that the way you do things will work again?
I mean, I think for everybody it's different, and I also think it depends on the context of the conversation or the thing in question, you know? Like music. I've said many times, I think one of the most astute observations that I've ever heard from a stand-up comedian, and I love stand-up comedy. I think stand-up comedians are some of the sharpest people in the game when it comes to observing culture. Chris Rock said a number of years ago in a stand-up comedy special that I thought was brilliant. Whatever music that you were listening to when you started doing the old horizontal tango is your favorite music. Whatever music you were listening to when you started getting physical with the ladies or when you started getting physical with the fellas, whatever your taste and preference might be, that's favorite music. And I honestly, I think that's a fair observation. And I think it roots us in a particular music that kind of becomes our genre. Lonzo and I, we have both said many times, we are well-rounded, both physically and musically. You walk into the Fortress of Nerditude, there's a 90% chance that either wrestling is on or music is on. And if the music is on, it could be anything. Hip-hop, classical, old school, rock and roll, discotheque, whatever. You're going to get a little bit of everything. But I will say that more and more recently, I have found myself stumbling occasionally upon contemporary music stations and going, this is tragic.
Yeah, I heard something earlier and I thought it was one thing, but it was another. It's using the same tone and the same beat. And it's like,
oh, it's sampling.
Okay, that's a different song.
Yeah.
All right.
So, and I'll give you the perfect example. I was introduced a couple of years ago to the concept of mumble rap. You heard of mumble rap?
I can't say that I have.
It's rap, but intentionally bad, at least compared to what we would have considered good rap in
Is
my
this
day.
invented by Shy Ronnie?
I don't know. I don't know the origin of the genre. I don't particularly care to know. It's basically guys who rap, but they're like, and then they write down what they actually said. It's like, so you're a bad rapper. Just say you're a bad rapper. Just own that you're a bad rapper. So I listen to that and I'm like, I can't change.
So wait, so like they're just going.
Effectively, yeah. I'll tell you what, when we get to a break, we got to do a live read at the end. When I get to a break, before we come back on the air, I'll play you a mumble rap. All right?
Oh, I can't wait.
They're tragic. So I think
or maybe I found a new avenue to make money.
Maybe so. Maybe so. I feel like I feel like anybody can do it. All right? So there are also other places where change is good for me. Change is a good thing, right? Like, I recently had to buy a new rig. I had to buy a new vehicle. The old Jeep got walloped. I had to buy a new car. And for the first time in my adult life, I bought a brand new car. It had like 0.3 miles on it when I picked it up. Bought a brand new car. It's got all the modern tech in it, man. I got a touch screen that I can pop my GPS onto. I got the rear view mirror cam. I got the heated seats. Like, I got everything. And I said when I was driving the Jeep, which had the old analog radio on it, no heated seats, no camera, no screen, none of that. When I had that Jeep, I was like, I don't understand. Like, I will never spend extra thousands of dollars to have all the modern stuff. Who the hell needs it? A car's a car. And now that I have it, I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Wish I'd have done this 5 years ago. Not that the screens were a thing 5 years ago, but you get the point.
They actually work because that's when I got.
No, well, there you go.
Okay.
So I any time that I have an aversion to trying something new, I have to remind myself, change is good sometimes. But there are times where it's great to stick to your convictions, to not change. It's good for you. The problem is when it starts impacting other people, right? The problem is where it's, if you want to hold some personal viewpoint that I think is wrong, right? I heard somebody at a bar a couple of weeks ago. You guys know that I do what I can, when I can, where I can to help promote women in my industry. It is something I have an affinity for. I try to have guests on that are women to give them a platform to speak about. When I've done games in the past, if I have the opportunity to ask for a microphone for a woman as a sideline reporter or a color person, or if I got asked 5 years ago, I was doing play-by-play for maybe 6, UWF baseball. And I was doing they asked me to do games. And I said, yeah. And then when I went there, they're like, hey, listen, one of the girls from the softball team is in our media department. She has a goal of being a play-by-play broadcaster. Do you have an issue mentoring her? And I'm like, let her do the play-by-play. I'll do the color. I don't care. I heard that somebody at the bar the other day, not this past weekend before last. It was one of the college games. Was it Washington's game? I don't remember. But they had a woman doing play-by-play. Guy at the table next to me. I wish I wouldn't let women do this. And I'm just like, I don't like that comment. If you want to feel that way, that's fine.
All right. According to ESPN, Jade Cargill has signed a multi-year contract with the WWE.
We knew that was coming, right? We knew that was coming.
Yeah, but it was reported by ESPN, so it's sports news.
Yeah, because they basically are in bed with WWE.
Well, but
that's fine. Good for her.
Sports news, talking about sports breaking news.
I agree.
And all our breaking news is brought to you by
BetQL. Be a better, be smarter, and beat the books. And listen to Bet for the Cycle every Saturday from noon to 4 on the BetQL network with myself, Rob Brown, and former Major League Baseball player Cody Decker. It's a wonderful show. Also, Lonzo, oh God, I hope she's not listening because I committed now. We lost our Parlay v Parlay challenge last week. And the punishment is Rob has to get a tattoo with Cody.
Dude.
Uh-huh.
No.
Uh-huh.
No, you're going to be tatted.
Uh-huh.
You don't have any tattoos anywhere. So this is going to be This is going to be interesting because you don't know what it feels like to go under the needle.
The problem is the tattoo has to be show related and incorporate the signature of Hayden S. Mario. Yeah, it's not so fun anymore.
Well, why'd you commit to that?
Because if we won, which we have won all but 2 this year, Cody and I are like 8-2 in this game. If we won, Mario had to get a Hello Kitty belly button ring and wear it until midnight New Year's Eve. I was willing to trade.
You know what? That's worse than the tattoo.
Correct. That's why we said yes.
But at the same time, he could take that out, and I think the hole will grow back over. I don't know.
The only way we can get him to commit to do it.
Does the hole grow back over?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. For the rest of forever, he would have had to explain why he has a belly button ring hole.
So you just keep your ring in, so you don't have to worry about it.
No, I have to get the tattoo.
You didn't get it.
All right. So the point is, when your beliefs start impacting other people, when your conviction starts impacting other people negatively, that's when it becomes a problem, right? Question is it Dabo's beliefs that are impacting the Clemson program and holding them back? And I have to say, the answer is yes. I have to say the answer is yes at this point. I have to say that there are 2 things predominantly. I'm not going to harp on the first one because Lord knows everybody with a microphone or a blog has written ad nauseum about Dabo's reluctance to use the transfer portal and how it's impacted him. Now, I think there's another angle to this. And I told you last Friday before this game that this Florida State-Clemson game was interesting to me, not just because of the game itself, but because it is a battle of philosophies. Dabo, who is very reluctant to use the portal. Mike Norvell, who checks it every day. Well, Florida State had, top of my brain, Lonzo, 311 yards of offense in this game. I think Clemson had 429, if I recall correctly. Of that 311 yards, Lonzo, 310 of them were credited to a player who came out of the portal into Florida State University. Transfers won that game. Not helped win the game. They won the game. Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Jaheim Bell. Transfers won that game for Florida State. So that's something that's got to be dealt with because it's not just the fact that Dabo's not going to take guys out, but it's also that guys are in there that Dabo could take out that are going to other teams that he has to face directly. If Dabo was willing to go to the portal, who's to say that a Keon Coleman, a tremendously talented wide receiver, wouldn't have gone, yeah, Clemson sounds good, man. Clemson sounds good. I think I'll check them out. And now all of a sudden that guy that just beat you in overtime is now a Tiger. Who's to say? But I think there's a second element to this. The second element is the recruiting itself, right? So recruiting itself. The other aspect of this conversation has been that Dabo Swinney is constantly going to get guys that are just good boys who want to be a Tiger. Just good kids.
The good boys
want to be a Tiger.
Do that arm thing? Do they? Maybe back in like 1935. I don't know. Yeah.
And the problem is you're not going out and finding the elite caliber talent that carried you for a very long time.
So what you're saying is there are no good kids that are talented anymore.
That is not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is you're not finding them at Clemson right now, right? There are no Hopkins, Watkins, Spillers, ETNs. I mean, there are. Will Shipley's there. Phil Maffa might keep growing into that guy. Cade Klubnik may grow into a generational quarterback. Matt, he showed us some flash, some pop this Saturday. But he's not there right this second. Camper Scott just checked in and said, the thing that gets me the most about the whole transfer portal thing is that Dabo wants good character young men. That is absolutely correct. Camper Scott, how is that 2-loss season through 4 games feeling for you right now? Randy Shannon was down at Miami a number of years ago. Randy Shannon took Miami, a team that for a decade and a half was known for being very, very good, but of questionable character. Randy Shannon got there. He produced the highest graduation rate of all time, the lowest incarceration rate of all time for the Miami Hurricanes, and he also kept going 8-4.
Still sad that they keep track of the lowest incarceration. It's not 0, but it's the lowest amount that, anyway.
Well, of the teams in Florida, for the first time ever, they were at the bottom of that ranking. You know what happened to Randy Shannon at Miami? He got canned. Right. Now, let's address Camper Scott further because he's added on to that thought. And what's a bigger character than loyalty? If you get recruited to one school and then decide to jump somewhere else because whatever reason, you're not exactly showing loyalty, which translates into not showing good character. Camper Scott, you're wrong. Okay? You're wrong. And here's why. Loyalty is a two-way street, my dude. If you are the type of person who is blindly loyal to someone who does not show you loyalty in return, you're either dumb or weak. Which one is it? Which one is it? You're either dumb or weak. If you are constantly doing everything that someone asks you to do out of loyalty, and
maybe you're not dumb or weak. Maybe you're setting an example of how you should be about what loyalty truly is.
Sure, if you are willing to throw away your career so that at the end of that, when you didn't get the play time you were told you were going to get, when you didn't make the money you were told you were going to make, when you didn't get the benefits you said you were said you were going to get, but at the end you go, yeah, I got shafted for 4 years, but I never left. That's dumb. Camper Scott, my question is this. If your boss to you comes and he goes, hey, I'm cutting your salary by 50%. You don't have dental insurance anymore, but I'm going to need loyalty for you. Are you going to go, I think I'll stay because I'm a loyal guy? No, hell no, you're not. You're going to flip him the double bird and you're going to find a new damn job. That's all these kids are doing. That's it. It is, if you have decided that you're going to start hooking things like morality onto a guy deciding, I should get a better job. I should get a better job. If you go into your dentist office and you find out that a dental technician left to go work for the other dentist because they pay twice as much, are you going to be that unloyal person? No, you're going to go, oh, good for them. Good for them. If you want to hook morality and ethics onto these kids, that's your call. But here's the other fun part. They don't care. They don't care. They don't care. I am loyal to a fault to this radio station because they gave me an opportunity when there weren't other ones out there for me, or at least not many. And they have been great to me. But if somebody calls tomorrow and offer me $1 million a year to move into a radio show there, I'm gone, dude. I'm gone. And I don't think anybody in this building would hold it against me. If I came to Lonzo tomorrow and said, hey, dude, I'm going to Chicago. They're offering me $1 million a year to do a show up there. I don't think Lonzo's going to go, you're a disloyal, bad person. He'd be like, yo, can I get $10K?
It's going to depend on, no, I'm not going to ask for money. I'm going to congratulate you and it'd be awesome, but it depends on who you're replaced with.
That's also true.
I might badmouth you
Right.
in about 6 months after dealing with something. Yeah.
But you're not gonna call me disloyal or a bad person for taking the gig. So Camper Scott, if you want to attach that to them, then that's your call and that's fine. But I don't think they care. Now, this viewpoint is the problem. Because I understand that Dabo's looking at it and going, I want guys who are loyal. I want guys who want to be here. And that's fine. That's great. But where's the talent? Where's the talent? See, because kids have finally, this is not new. I've been saying this on this show for a while.
But you're saying, where's the talent? That was not a blowout Saturday.
It was not. I'm the one who said that yesterday.
Yeah,
everybody was piling on. I turned into Clemson's biggest defender yesterday.
Well, last I checked, that was an overtime game.
And frankly, a game that Clemson should have won. You take the scoop and score off. You take the missed field goal off. Clemson wins the game. All right? Either one of those plays goes the other way. Clemson wins the game. But are you going to argue that this team is talented as Any team with the exception of last year's?
Well,
Are they as talented as any team that was QB'd by Lawrence, Watson, Bryant, any of those guys? No. No.
You forgot.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about last year's team too. Last year's team and this year's team, neither of those two teams were even in the ballpark with any team of the year before that.
I'm going to say this thing that other Clemson fans would never say, and I know that implied that I'm a Clemson fan, which I'm not. DJ Uyunglele would have won that game.
No,
he would have.
No, he wouldn't.
He absolutely
because
would've.
the issue was not Cade Klubnik. You think the issue was Cade Klubnik? That's what you think. That's
part
what
of
you
the
think was
issue.
the problem.
I don't think the issue is coaching the way people are acting. It could be recruiting. It's more about the rest of the ACC catching up.
No,
there was a time when everyone wanted to go to Clemson and all that kind of stuff.
Team from 2 years ago beat FSU this year. Hell yes.
I don't know.
Hell
yes.
I
don't.
By 24.
I'm not. Well, let's simulate it and find out.
Be happy to. The answer is yes.
You can't do that because there's no game where you could do that.
On paper, they absolutely could. Position to position on paper, Trevor and Travis's team would have beat this Florida State team 2 days ago by 30.
It's the whole thing. The coach is going to get the credit. The coach is going to get discredited when things are not going well.
Yeah, but I think
people have
to stuff.
I
think we can direct. Why are you again? Like I know it's kind of become the illustration, but it's the illustration because it's the best example of many. But 3rd and 1, you're calling an RPO. You're setting up your freshman core, your technically sophomore quarterback to fail. You set him up to fail. Either hand the ball or throw the ball, but don't do that.
I'm always gonna be a fan of loyalty. You're not gonna shake me from that. No. I mean, I just am.
You're making me look like a bad guy. Rob doesn't care about loyalty. That is not correct.
I didn't say that.
The school owes loyalty to the players as well. There is a loyalty element that goes in both directions. It is not, I think, back in the day, a lot of people confuse
I don't think so.
For loyalty.
I am not loyal to someone or something because they are loyal to me. It doesn't work that way.
It should.
That's your opinion, and it's not mine. My loyalty is because I love or I respect or I care enough about someone or something that I'm loyal to them. And I realize that it's not necessarily going to go both ways. That's just, it's just like love, period. I may love someone, doesn't mean they love me. And it doesn't make me love them any less because they don't love me.
If you are in a relationship and the other person is constantly like, can you bring me? Can you do this? Can you clean that? Can you you do all those things and they don't give anything back to you and you stay in that, you know what you are? You're a chump. That's what you are. You're a chump. That's it. If that person is taking and taking and taking and never once giving back to you and you stay because you're loyal, cool, but you're also a chump.
You know what? I'm loyal to something that you're not.
The clock?
The clock.
Screw the clock. I'm not loyal to the clock. Clock don't dictate my life. So how bad does it have to get before Dabo changes his ways? Till y'all put pressure on him. Till y'all threaten that $12 million a year check. That's what. When that check is under fire, that's when it'll change. Until then, it's up to you how this plays out. Overreaction or make sense when we come back on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, got another live read. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
And we know chair shots work. So
We know chair shots work. So I asked Lonzo before we came back on the stream, do you think you could get away with like a wrestling big boot kick? You know, like the big guys do where they just put the foot up in the air and let you run and face first into it? You feel like that would work in a bar fight. Like if a dude was running across the bar to get at it while your boy's in a scrap, do you think you could just raise the boot if they didn't see it coming and clock them?
you know anyone could get their foot up that high though?
I still can.
Can you?
Yeah, I can still drop a boot. I can't. I used to be able to pull off, or would have been able to pull off a super kick, but not anymore. I don't bend the sideways. But on a straight ahead run, I could get my foot up to your chin. And I'm not fighting anybody bigger than you.
Okay. So I'm the limit.
You're the max.
Don't lose hope. GRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can reduce your tax,
Well, I think it just. I think it goes without saying that a Big Show boot, a friend of the show, Paul White's
Yeah.
boot,
Like a Paul White boot.
that could kill somebody legitimately.
I covered a court case when I was a TV reporter about a Navy guy who got charged with manslaughter because a dude walked up and slapped his girlfriend's backside, and he turned around and cold cocked the guy, and he knocked him out, and he fell down and he hit his head on one of those concrete parking space barrier things.
Yeah, I know.
you know?
Shut up. Yeah.
The dude fell. He got KO'd. He fell backwards. He hit the back of his head on that thing, and it killed him. Like severed his spine. And so the guy got charged with manslaughter for KOing the dude. I don't know. I don't remember what the outcome of the case was, but that is honestly 80% of the reason that I have zero interest in getting in a fight. It's because the last thing I need is to be fighting over something dumb, and a dude falls and hits his head on a bar table and goes night night forever, and you go to jail for it. With a broken freaking neck.
Yeah, a night out with Haku, you're gonna have a good time probably. You know, I can pull off a Superman punch, but someone will have to help me up afterwards. I'm just saying, because, you know, bending, not easy.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. Rob and Lonzo with you. We'll play a little game here. Got about 10 minutes to knock one out. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take a look at some sports takes that I have seen floating around on the social media over the last 24, 48 hours. And I am going to tell you if these things are overreactions or if they make sense. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for Overreaction or Make Sense.
I think you're overreacting.
Let's all calm down.
This is a huge deal.
I think you're overreacting a little bit.
I am not overreacting.
Remain calm, everyone. This is a big deal.
That's no reaction.
Everybody calm down. Look how calm I am.
That was an overreaction.
Look, let's all just calm down.
This is not a big deal.
All right, let us start with the first thing. The Miami Dolphins will go down as the best NFL offense of not this year, not this decade, not this century. Has it been around a century? I think it's just like 50 something. So yeah, century. Of all time. Of all time.
Of what time?
All time. You know, if I'm going to fade, I got to grab the right fader, you know.
I've been back and forth on this one a lot because I'm walking the edge. But I think for today, I have landed on. I think they're.
Wait. So you consider this for a second that they're going to be the greatest offense of all time?
As of right now, we are 3 games into the season.
No, they shouldn't have scored that many points. And as I said yesterday, some people are going to be upset about it. And there's been some people, some coaches and kind of those kind of unhappy about how much they scored. You put a target on your back when you did that. Hopefully you can handle it.
As of right now, the Miami Dolphins are averaging over 44 points per game. Now, the number is absolutely skewed because of a 70-point ball game this past weekend against Denver. But the next highest average points per game total in the history of the National Football League was 37.9. It belonged to the 2013 Denver Broncos, quarterbacked by Peyton Manning. Behind them, the 2007 New England Patriots, quarterbacked by Tom Brady. Behind them, the 2018 Kansas City Chiefs, who averaged 35.3 yards per game, quarterbacked by Patrick Mahomes. So,
I heard of him before.
You sure have.
He's pretty good.
He is friends with Travis Kelce, who is dating Taylor
definitely
Swift.
heard of him. Yeah.
I'm going to say they're going to be in the discussion. I think to say that they definitively are, it's premature. A lot of football left, and as Lonzo just pointed out, other teams are going to go, yeah, we ain't doing that. We ain't letting them put 70 on us. So that number's going to come down. Question mark is, can they keep it? If they keep it over 40 points per game, that will be a ludicrous number. So I'll say, as of right now, it's an overreaction to say that they are. It is absolutely logical to say that they are a threat to that number.
Yeah, admittedly, I don't know who the greatest offense of all time. And I guess, how would you even, is it about points scored? Is it about victories? Is it a combination of, or is it, man, they look better than anybody else?
I looked at it as points per game.
Okay.
Like, points per game is showing me a consistent level of offensive success. And if you are averaging 36 plus points per game, you're a damn good team.
Yeah, let's revisit this like halfway through the season
I agree
and
with
see
that.
where they are. All right, the next one, the Chiefs, my favorite team, the Kansas City Chiefs, will be the least favorite team in the league, or maybe in all of sports, by the end of the season.
So this is like a really huge deal.
I'm going to say, yeah. I'm sorry to say it.
Did you see what I sent you on Twitter? It's a TikTok video of Swifties trying to tell people who Travis Kelce is and why it's okay for her to be with him.
Yeah. There's a social media
Including
fad.
like he had the thing with the Super Bowl trophy and they were pouring beer on it and it going into his mouth.
There's a fad going
What
on
would
in
you
the
call
social
that?
media sphere right now where Swifties are congratulating Travis Kelce for being put on the map, for becoming a part of American culture, because Taylor has brought him out of obscurity and into the public eye. It is my favorite thing, Swifties explaining football to us. It is the best. It is also the reason that by the end of the year, over half of America, if TK and Tay-Tay make it to the Super Bowl, over half of America will be rooting against Kansas City so that Taylor Swift has to go away. This absolutely makes sense.
All right. So here's the thing. There are a lot of, I saw one, I forget which football player it was, put a video out there talking about how this, boys, is why you should shoot your shot and all these things. Here's how they don't become the most hated. If Travis breaks it off.
If Travis dumps, dude, you're still wrong. Because if Travis dumps Taylor, every Swiftie in America makes him public enemy number one.
And again,
every one of them.
I'm still not sold that they're actually a thing. I just I think this would be the ultimate dupe, and I kind of hope that's what it is. All right, let's see. The Cincinnati Bengals. They played last night. Cincinnati. Some people call it Cincinnati. I believe Dan Scott calls it Cincinnati. And I think people who are from that area call it Cincinnati. Never understood that because it's an I, it's not an A. Cincinnati Bengals overpaid for Joe Burrow.
Of course they did not. Joey B, when he is fully healthy, and he's not, Joey B is the second most accurate quarterback in the National Football League, behind, of course, only Tua Tagovailoa. Joey B is playing hurt. We saw that. Last night, he's sitting on the sideline with some futuristic Star Trek device strapped to his calf muscle to keep it loose and worked out between snaps. And on top of that, how many balls did T. Higgins drop last night? Honestly, about 65 yards worth.
Hey, what school did T. Higgins go to?
T, I believe, was a Tigger. He was a Clemson.
Oh, okay. So I couldn't remember. Yeah.
Joey B, if T. Higgins isn't dropping balls last night, goes over 300 yards. Hurt. They said, Joe, why'd you play hurt if you're hurt? He said, because me playing hurt and getting worse is not as bad as us going 0-3. And he's right. Statistically speaking, teams that are 0-3 make the playoff at like a 3% rate or something in that ballpark. He was right. You did not overpay. Now you just got to get him healthy. Now you got to keep him upright and clean until he is 100%, which is bad news because that Bengal offensive line is very pedestrian.
All right. Overreaction or not, the Heisman belongs to Caleb Williams or Michael Penix Jr.
So this is like a really huge deal.
As of right now, it absolutely does.
No.
Absolutely does.
No. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to win the Heisman Trophy.
No, he's not.
He is.
It's quarterback trophy.
Absolutely.
I don't like it. So that we're very clear. I don't like it.
Who's Caleb Williams? Who's he play for? Michael Penix Jr.? Was there a senior? Should I know him? I don't know them. You know who I know? Marvin Harrison. I know him. Marvin Harrison Sr. I know him. He was pretty good. Junior, even better. I know him. He's going to win the Heisman.
I respect, Lonzo, your commitment to the nut. I respect your commitment to...
It's a poison, nut.
You can give it what the qualities you want. It's a nut.
Well, don't eat them because unless they're made out of chocolate and peanut butter, those are good. Those are good. Have you had Buckeyes before like that?
I don't think I have.
If not, I'll have to bring you some in around Christmas time.
I accept your commitment to the nut. But it's a quarterback award, and those two guys are it. Now,
no, it doesn't say the Heisman Quarterback Award. It says the Heisman Trophy Award.
It might as well.
When's the last time a non-quarterback won the Heisman Trophy?
The last time a non-quarterback won the award was 2020 when Devontae Smith won it.
Wait.
2020?
That wasn't a decade ago. That was 3 years ago, dude.
Dating back to that was 3 years ago, 2020 season.
That's what I said.
Quarterback, non-quarterback, quarterback, non-quarterback, quarterback, running back, running back, quarterback. That takes you back to 2000. So that's what? That's 3, 4 out of 20. So non-QBs are winning it 1 out of every 5 times.
Yeah.
And these two guys are having elite level seasons right now.
All right. Who do they play for again?
USC and Washington, respectively. The two of the top 5 teams in the country. And if you listen to the Robbie remix, 2 of the top 3 teams in the country.
They're not members of the Pac-2. They're members of the Pac-12, or are they members of the Pac-2?
The artist formerly known as the Pac-12.
Okay, because it gets confusing. Anyway, so
the team with the conference with more ranked teams than any other in the country.
They both play on the West Coast, which means they play games later on in the night, which means a good portion of America doesn't really know who they are or watch them. You know who they do see though? Marvin Harrison Jr. Just saying.
Okay.
And who votes for the Heisman?
Media writers across the whole country, including Los Angeles.
And what is the percentage of media writers that are over 60?
What does that have to do with?
I'm just asking. Is there a percentage that are over 60? Because the ones I see, they're over 60. You know what they don't do? They don't stay up past 10 o'clock. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
We'll see.
You know what they do see? They see that noon kickoff. They see that 3:30 kickoff. They see that 7:30 kickoff. 10 p.m. No, man. No, they're in bed.
We'll see.
All right, the next one is, so we compile these, and Rob sends me some, and I come up with some. This one I don't understand. So that one comment from a Tiger fan is not inappropriate. What fan are you really talking about?
I put that one in there just to see if you might pick it.
Because I don't. Yeah. What is it?
Don't worry, I'll tell you. I was floating around the internet. earlier this week, and I came across a comment that was left on a Clemson Tiger subreddit about Dabo Swinney. And that comment was about, and I don't have time to read it because we're about to go to the break, so I'll save it and I'll read it for you coming up here in a minute. But long story short, that comment basically said something to the tune of, Dabo needs to give half his salary back. He's out of pocket. He's screwing us over. We're falling behind. We're going back to Tommy Bowden levels of mediocrity. And I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to say that, my dudes and dudettes, is an overreaction. You have to give people an opportunity to learn and move on from their mistakes. Now, you don't have to give them a million opportunities, but you do have to let them learn a lesson. My dad was very, very big on allowing me to screw up and then coaching me through fixing problems.
He allowed you to.
He allowed me to screw up.
Because without, you wouldn't have done it on your own.
There was a time, this is a true story. There was a time when I had to fix he told me to fix the toilet in the guest bedroom of the house we all lived in. And so I got to fixing it, and basically I was winging it, right? Like I didn't teach myself how to do it. I just started doing it, and I cracked because I didn't use one of the little silicone washers when you screw the toilet into the ground that prevent the screw from cracking the porcelain of the throne. I didn't put them on because I wasn't paying attention, and I cracked it. And he goes, "What we learn?" I was like, "What do you mean?" It's like, "What'd you learn?" I was like, "I should probably learn how to do this before I do it." And he goes, "Good, go get the other toilet." He literally saw me putting the whole thing together and went and had another toilet ready to go because he knew I was going to break it. And he let me break that one to learn that lesson. I've never forgotten that moment.
That's 1% money right there. You got a spare toilet waiting.
He did, because he knew I was going to break that one.
Just saying.
And he was right. And then I learned how to install that toilet, but I also learned read through the whole direction book before you start putting something together. Otherwise, you're going to screw it up and break it, right? So you got to let somebody mistake and learn from said mistake before you expect them to correct it. And I think that's the spot you're in now. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. A turlet story.
Turlets.
This whole show's in the turlet.
Listen, the turlet when I'm trying to share.
So what do we want to talk about here, guys?
Chainsaw Massacre House. You should watch that TikTok video. Obviously, it's not very long because it's a TikTok video.
It can be 10 minutes.
Can it? I don't know. I'm just never really been on TikTok before.
Finally, the pain got so bad that people around me are like, "Oh, when are you getting need your knee replaced. I was walking, hobbling. I listened to my last QC Kinetics commercial and I said, I'm done. I got to find out about this.
What Julie found out was QC Kinetics treats osteoarthritis with regenerative therapies, taking your body's own healing properties and concentrating them in the areas where you feel pain, helping heal and restore those damaged areas. No harmful steroid surgery or downtime.
It changed how I'm living. I'm able to do the things that I wasn't able to do for a long time.
Get back your life before the pain. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Call QC Kinetics, 864-448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. 864-448-3772. Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistake?
Well, according to this video, I've got a shot with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, you're not friends with Patrick Mahomes and you don't have a Super Bowl trophy, but you know, there's
Oh, that's why I want to have a shot with Tay Tay. I haven't hosted SNL yet.
Call Ton Provider, 800-444-9336. That's 800-444-9336. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-444-9336. Finding great candidates.
Taylor is the lucky one.
you save the best for last.
I respect it.
Sorry, I had to take him down for a little bit because there was music in that, and I didn't want to. Yeah. I have this secret fear that it's not a secret fear. I have a fear that I'm going to go home and like all my trees will be knocked down from that big, huge thing. Like guy had a spasm.
Go back to living in a field.
Yeah, a spasm or something. Went, oh, and there goes another tree. I have a lot of trees to spare, by the way, but still, it's just. But what it also does, when they clear out that thing, now you can see all the way to the road. I don't like that. Because I don't want some curious person going, hey, I wonder where this goes. And then, yeah. They'd have to cross the creek, but the creek's low right now, so. Wow, not going to have much time for this segment. Just saying.
Live and learn. The first part, mandatory. The second part, optional, sometimes very difficult. And I think that's kind of the spot we're in. Listen, I will say this. I think a lot of newer Clemson fans don't remember life before Dabo. But at the same time, I defend those fans. Because expectations of being championship caliber are just fine. Now, if you grew up a fan of a school that's just never gonna compete and you're just there for the fun, that's fine. But once your team reaches the top of the mountain, expectation of staying there is fine. Why do you think Florida State fans have been so damn obnoxious for the past 10 years? Because their expectation is championship caliber, and that organization made multiple hires that either won and then screwed them, Jimbo Fisher, or were just never the guy in the first place, Willie Taggart.
Granddaddy, what was it like when them Taggers were me?
Yeah, back in the olden times. And I defend those fans because I understand wanting your team to remain at the top of the game. I get that, right? So, with that being said, Dabo knows where you are. He can give all the cheery press conferences in the world.
Dabo knows where I am.
He might. We might be on a list.
Well, I'm on the #1 sports radio show in the state of South Carolina. He better know where I am.
True. Dabo knows the state of the union of the Clemson Tigers. He knows the situation you're in. I promise you. Dabo's not any more happy about getting bounced from the playoffs in week 4 than you are. Right? Now, it is Dabo's character to come out and talk about how great everything is. But he knows how y'all feel. When does he change? When it gets to the point that the check is threatened. When it gets to the point that the paycheck is threatened, he will change. My question mark is, do y'all start threatening now? Or do you let him finish out the season and go, okay, you get it now, right? You touched the hot stove. You got burned. Did you learn? Talk some NFL when we come back. Got to get some baseball and soccer in here because there's some big stories there on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate.
Joe Burrow said he played last night because his Bengals couldn't fall to 0-3. Jamar Chase says the rest of the team heard the message. I mean, be ready. I mean, be ready and give us all the best. And Joe already given us his best, so we have no choice to follow. Burrow in his bad right calf didn't throw for a touchdown, but still got a 19-16 home win over the Rams. The Cincy D sacked Matthew Stafford 6 times, picked him off twice. The Eagle defense kept Bucks under 200 yards of offense and forced their first 2 turnovers of the season in a 25-11 win in Tampa Bay. Playing with flu-like symptoms, Jalen Hurts threw for a score, ran for another. Philly has back-to-back 3-0 starts for the first time since 92 and 93. And the Texas Rangers pushed their win streak to 6 last night at 5-1 in Anaheim. They maintained a 2.5-game lead on the Astros atop the AL West. Houston winning in Seattle 5-1. I'm Andrew Bowman.
Hey, it's Amy Lawrence. Be sure to listen to CBS Sports Radio at home. Just ask Alexa to play CBS Sports Radio.
Ow.
Klein Tools are new at Lowe's, pros. Lowe's knows you want top brands and quality products, and Klein Tools delivers. Right now, get the Klein 3-piece Modbox mobile workstation for $319.
Oh no, soccer.
Klein 5-piece cushion grip screwdriver set for just $34.97, both exclusively at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools, the highest quality tool brand, Lowe's. Because Lowe's knows tools, Lowe's knows pros.
Hey, if you're thinking about getting the latest iPhone, check this out. With Boost Infinite, you get the latest iPhone every year and unlimited wireless for just $60 a month. Yeah, you get the new titanium iPhone 15 Pro that was just announced. Then again, next year, you get the latest iPhone every year. Boost Infinite, infinitely better. To learn more, pick up your phone, dial pound 250 and say Boost Infinite. That's pound 250 and say Boost Infinite.
Hey, it's Rivers, the owner of Mr. Sparky of the Upstate. This time of year, you never want to go without power. We offer whole home generators, whole home surge protectors, EV chargers, surge protectors for EVs, HVAC, pools and spas, plus 24-hour emergency service, and in most cases, same-day service. The next time you need an electrician, go to MrSparkyoftheUpstate.com. You don't have to put up with
Attention all football fans. Are you ready to experience MVP treatment in banking? Look no further than Founders Federal Credit Union. Their personalized service is the winning play. Don't settle for being just another number. Join Founders and receive the personalized attention you deserve, along with great rates, loans for any reason, and a dynamic online experience. Visit one of their 41 convenient office locations or visit foundersfcu.com to see if you qualify for membership. Relax.
Admittedly, I type pretty hard, but Rob types harder than I do. Just saying.
I've been accused of angry typing.
Yeah. I am not. Listen, it was just really quiet in here, and I was noticing how loud it sounded. And it's like, yeah, I'm just, yeah. because I'm arthritic. I really am, but you know. When you get older, the arthritis will hit you in all kinds of places. It's pretty sad and also kind of cool that I knew where you guys were going to go as it was quiet and I heard how loud the typing was. I was aggressively trying to catch up on something that I had neglected to do. So I want to get that email going. Why are your chapters empty?
Yeah, that's
it's participation, and I didn't have time, and Lonzo do better.
actually, you know what, James? I'm going to argue that capital with an O is correct in the way I was using it. So I'm putting it back, and I'll explain why here in just a minute.
So is there a difference between a capital of someplace and capital that you earn?
Yes. The capital A is the city that the capital with an O is in. Capital A is also money.
Steven, you about to see me get angry. It's my keyboard.
The time, the fight of the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. This is the Fan Upstate. Great to have you. I am Rob Brown, the great one, Lonzo, the Sultan of Swag, the Professor of Perfection, the Wizard of Wave. On the other side of the metaphorical glass this AM. Should you elect to be a part of our radio broadcast today, then you are not only invited, you are welcomed on the show in any of the variety of ways that you wish to do so. You can. I thought we were going to hit that at the beginning of the intro.
So listen, I'm still catching up on things, and I was trying to, I'm gonna.
I deflated a little bit. That's okay.
35 seconds. It's my fault. Okay, let me take this one.
Call the phone line. Text the text line. Send me a tweet. A Threads. An Instagram. Slide into my DMs. Hit me on AOL Instant Messenger. Shoot me a letter. Send me a carrier pigeon.
Nope.
All right, that's fair. That's probably a good point to cut that off.
Yeah, because carrier pigeon engineering would have to be involved, or you'd have to go up on the roof on that ladder, and you don't want. It's not made for sturdy people. I'm just saying, it's just not.
Phone line. I've been up there. It's kind of
yeah. I've been up there and thought, man, I ain't fitting through that, but I did. So I mean,
844-326-3663. 844-326-3663 is the phone number. The MadWorldAttractions.com text line's there for you. 71307, 71307. Start that text with FAN, F-A-N. Tweet me at The Rob Brown Show. At The Rob Brown Show. Tweet Lonzo at Lonzo on Word. And tweet everybody at the station at The Fan Upstate if you want to come at us in the virtual world. And, of course, my email is always open, rob.brown@thefanupstate.com. rob.brown@thefanupstate.com. Texter says, what's the fax number? We actually have one. I don't know, though. I don't know the number. I'll be happy to get it.
It's in the hoteling suite.
It is. It's in the Jock Lounge.
No. It's a hoteling suite. We don't have Jock Lounges anymore.
When did we change it? It's always been the Jock.
No. The Jock Lounge. A Jock Lounge has a refrigerator in it. That's a hoteling suite. We found this out, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, when the big guy downstairs said it's called a hoteling suite. So I mean, okay. And we looked it up, and that is funnier to me. So it's in the hoteling suite.
I'm good with it. We do have a fax machine. I'll get the number. Actually, I won't. I will not give you guys.
It's weird though. Some people actually still send faxes. Yeah. And I just don't.
And I'm not sending you the number because when that email comes out and The boss is like, who gave out the number? Because this is the 37th phallic picture we've received on our fax machine today. I'm not taking that heat.
Come on. They're not that creative. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they could just send that to you in emails. You know, they could do that.
A lot of stuff that we got to keep getting to. But I do want to hit this.
Kevin's out there drawing one right now on his big loader or whatever he called it.
If I ever get that fax number. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have been telling you for a while that you may not like it. You may not love it. Hell, you may hate it. It doesn't matter. The South has caught on to soccer. And I know that the South is caught on to soccer because I am, at least I consider myself, a mover and shaker in that world. All right?
He knows people.
I am people. I am the people that other people know.
Yeah, but I'm your people, so I recognize as your people
that I also know people.
That you know people. Yes.
Right.
I don't know those people, but I know that you know those people.
I know people and people know me.
There you go.
The South is catching on
Respect.
to soccer, without a doubt.
Oh, never mind. I'm out.
That's okay. It doesn't matter. Here's how I know that. Aside from being involved in that particular community, I've watched the growth of the Greenville Triumph, the Greenville Liberty. I've watched the growth of teams in MLS across the South, Orlando City, where Lionel Messi currently plays. Inter Miami, where Miami plays. Their rival, Orlando. Atlanta United has a wonderful following. MLS teams in the South are becoming, the Southeast is becoming the powerhouse, the power region of football. I think it's great. And I know that because the U.S. Soccer Federation, and let me be very clear, an organization that I am not a big fan of at all, to be quite frank with you. I think there's a lot of leadership issues with that organization. But it is the chief organization of American soccer. They oversee the U.S. men's and women's national teams. They oversee the development of soccer in the country. And up until very recently, they were headquartered in Chicago, Illinois. Not anymore, because they're moving. Not only are they moving, but they are building a brand new headquarters. A brand new headquarters that will house not only its first national training center, something that has long been desperately needed by the U.S. Soccer Federation, by U.S. Soccer as a whole. It is also going to be large enough to house the 27 teams that play under the red, white, and blue crest at all levels. And I think that's great. And where, might you ask, is the U.S. Soccer Federation moving its HQ along with its first ever massive training facility to? That, ladies and gentlemen, would be Atlanta, Georgia. Starting in less than a year and a half, United States Soccer will be focused in the metro area of Atlanta, Georgia. They are currently negotiating with at least, though it may be more, 2 different organizations for 2 different sites in the metro area, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. They have already got a bankroll going. Arthur Blank, the owner of the Atlanta Falcons and Atlanta United, has pledged $50 million towards the endeavor. Last Friday, Cindy Parlow-Cone, the current CEO of the U.S. Soccer Board of Directors, and said board of directors sat in a closed meeting, and they approved the move. Atlanta, which is also, by the way, going to be one of the host cities for tournament matches in the World Cup in 2026, was considered a primary candidate to land the job. Then Arthur Blank come on board and said, hey, you come here, I got $50 million for you. I love it. And U.S. Soccer looked, and while the overwhelmingly majority the overwhelming majority of decisions made by U.S. Soccer are based around money. That's part of the reason I have an issue with the leadership. One of the issues, for instance, is the fact that they keep playing games in cities that do not give the most advantageous situation for the U.S. men's and women's national soccer teams, but then they charge $51 a ticket for a regular seat to come in and can't figure out why they're getting 25,000 people at these games and not 40 or 50 or 60,000. It's a very simple reason. Can't charge $50 a ticket to a game that takes place with a 9 o'clock kick where you're playing it. It's just never going to work for any sport outside of maybe the NFL. We're just not there yet. But the fact that U.S. Soccer has selected to move to Atlanta, the fact that U.S. Soccer has decided to move to this area is not shocking to me at all. I saw a lot of people in the soccer community that were like, yo, what is going on here? The South? The Southeast? Not Texas, not Austin. Not the Northwest, not Seattle. Not the Midwest, not Columbus, Ohio. Not the Northeast, not New York City, where MLS is based. Not Boston, but Atlanta, Georgia. And the answer is yes, dudes. The Carolinas, Georgia, and Tennessee are a soccer hotbed right now. Texas said the Carolinas has always been a soccer hotbed. Shame it wasn't placed in the Tri-County, North Carolina area. Well, I think Atlanta gets two plays. Number one, it's just the bigger city. And that in and of itself is attractive. And number two, it is central. It is not ridiculously far away from the Tri-County, North Carolina area, the upstate of South Carolina. You've got North Carolina and Clemson soccer. But it also includes a reasonable drive from Tallahassee. Florida State women's soccer has gotten very good. In fact, this weekend, Florida State women's soccer scored with 5 seconds left in the game to take North Carolina to a draw, the number one team in the country. Soccer in the Southeast has exploded. You are seeing more and more talent. You are constantly seeing teams like Furman crank players into the academies. And while no, we are nowhere near being a soccer country like France or Germany or Spain or England. Of course we're not. We're 150 years behind in our development. The next step in catching up with those countries, the next step in getting ourselves into the position of global contender in the world's biggest sport is to have a good HQ and a good facility to run the academies out of so that we can have the best coaching talent available to our international programs, to have a place to bring the players to a dedicated training facility where everything is customized, set up the way you want. And you do it in a spot where you're not only central to a hotbed, but the Atlanta airport's right there. The Atlanta airport is what? The fourth busiest airport in the country, behind O'Hare, LaGuardia, and LAX. And then there's Atlanta. It's easy to get to. You can get your transportation from the airport to the soccer complex very simply. They're building it in the metro area. It's not going to be like the Braves where they're 30 minutes outside of the city. And getting to a Braves game is an ordeal for people who live in Atlanta. It's going to be close to Atlanta. This is great. It's a great move. It's a great move for U.S. Soccer. It's a great move for the USSF. It's a great move for the men's and women's national teams. And it is a great move for the Southeast. We are a hotbed. That community is growing. It's growing rapidly. Is it big enough now that I can go, yeah, we'll take 2-3 football segments away a week to talk about soccer during the season? No, of course not. I'm not arguing it is. But I am arguing the fact that they looked at this and could have gone anywhere in the country. LA, New York, Chicago, Boston, Miami. And they picked Atlanta. tells me that my preconceived notions about the popularity of this sport across the Southeast are valid and justified. I love it. You were talking about a facility that I suspect is going to be well up north of $130 million to build as far as the HQ and the training facility itself. Then you add in probably 50 plus from Arthur Blank. Then you add in the popularity of, again, Atlanta United, Orlando, Miami. You put it next to one of the busiest 4 or 5 airports in America that is super easy to get into and out of. It is phenomenal. The Southeast is a soccer hotspot, and this confirms that. This excites me more than I can tell you. It also means that, fingers crossed, we're going to see a lot more U.S. games take place in the Southeast. You're going to see a lot of games in Atlanta. You know who else that benefits? Charlotte. It benefits Charlotte. Charlotte FC had a great one in year one. They've kind of backed off. There's been a little bit of drama. But Charlotte being, how far is Atlanta to Charlotte? 3 hours, 3.5? That's a day trip. You put the fellas, you put the ladies on a bus and bring them to Charlotte for games. This is phenomenal. We are all going to benefit from this. And again, I think it goes well down the path of further establishing that the Southeast is soccer country. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at some NFL news and notes that we didn't get to yesterday. Talk about some game results, some breaking news. Joey B and his Bengals come off the schneid to get a dub last night. The entire NFC South lost this weekend. All of them after Tampa Bay fell last night. Did we have a good 2-week ride as a division? All that more coming up on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. You know it.
Why do you do that so violently?
I do everything violently. I'm a violent person.
He's not really. For anyone watching or keeping track of this, he's kind and genteel. So everyone around him.
The Utah Jazz are celebrating their 50th NBA season in special fashion. They unveiled new Classic Edition jerseys, a throwback to the road uniforms worn in the franchise's debut in New Orleans in 1974. The chest logo will be an exact replica from the original uniform. Just give the team name back. Just give it back. Don't pay tribute to us. Listen, it is my favorite NBA jersey of all time. But just give us the name back. I've been to Utah. Famously, no Jazz there. Absolutely infuriating.
Why are you just looking for stuff to get mad about?
The Magic are bringing back their old Stars jersey, too. Love that. The old Shaq jersey.
Is that an ice cream? No, never mind. Never mind.
That was mean.
No. Considering what it was, that was a bad mistake.
Ooh. Ooh.
I just saw the color. That's all. Hey, it's Butkus.
Travis Kelce's jersey sales spiked nearly 400% after Taylor Swift attended the Chiefs game Sunday.
Yeah.
Hey, man, good for him.
Take that, Tom Brady. Yeah. Wonder who was in the lead last week. Because they ain't catching up with that. What if this is all a clever ruse? Devised by Roger Goodell, the mad genius. We don't need to make money by getting the NFL overseas. All we got to do is bring in one person. That's it.
You know, every sports team in America is inviting Taylor Swift to come to a game now.
Well, if Kansas City's in your city, you're welcome to come out and watch that butt whooping and maybe get a glimpse of Taylor. It's possible.
Get a glimpse of Tay-Tay.
I saw her. She was in the booth. I am fans of teams and people and artists and stuff, but I do not care about someone so much as to pay that much money to go see them anywhere. And if I were that famous, I'd have a problem with people having to pay that much to come and see me. Maybe I'm just not arrogant enough.
No, first off,
I'm working on it.
You know how much money I will take for anybody who wants to pay to come see me? However much they want to give. All right. There are.
So you're saying they have to pay that?
Yeah, but you should just like buy me a beer. There are legacy artists that I would pay $250, $300 to see.
No, not me. I can't.
But very few. Like Stevie Nicks is going to be at the Well in February, and Courtney and I are probably going to spend decent money to be close to the stage for it. Kelsey's jersey sales spiked over 400% Sunday evening.
As he would say, all right now.
Let's bleep it go.
Hey, we're gonna get that email, that corporate email saying you can't say that because that's his. He coined it. He owns it. You owe him money.
Yeah.
So you should go out and buy a jersey like everybody else is. I already got mine, so you know.
You know what? I would.
I didn't wear my Kelsey jersey because I didn't want to look like a Swiftie.
I would. And then I would take the Kelsey name off and put Swift across the back just to see who's in on it. It's the only reason I'd buy one. Let's talk some NFL here for just a second. We asked during Overreaction or Makes Sense. We asked, is Miami going to, at the end of this year, be the greatest single-season NFL offense in the history of the league? Then I went through and I cited for you the best single-season NFL offenses so far. Now, depending on what statistic that you would like to use here, you'll get some different answers. For instance, if we go by number of points scored and therefore also points per game, the answer would be the 2013 Denver Broncos. They scored 606 points. They averaged 37.9 points per game. They scored 76 touchdowns that season. They had 25 made field goals, 75 extra points that year. They did it in 16 games. The first 17-game season that you will find on that list is all the way down at about number 12 for the 2021 Dallas Cowboys. In a 17-game season, they scored 530 points. That is almost 90 full points less than the Broncos scored in 2013. They averaged 31.2 points per game. Up towards the top of the list, the 13 Broncos, the 07 Patriots, the 18 Chiefs, the 11 Packers, the 2012 Patriots, the 98 Vikings, the 2011 Saints, the 83 Washington you-know-whats, the 2016 Falcons, and then all the way down is the 2000 greatest show on turf St. Louis Rams, who through 16 games scored 540 points and averaged 33.8 points per game. The Dolphins are a team that, while I do not love the Miami Dolphins, there's nothing special about them to me. You know what I do like? I like teams that are fun to watch play. I like teams that are fun to watch play, and I like coaches who stand out. Mike McDaniels is that guy right now. He said something on Sunday that I loved. He said on Sunday, when asked about all this new stuff, you saw the blind shovel pass touchdown, right? I think we all did. They ran a simulated jet sweep. Tua did the 180. He turned. He looked to the receiver about to cross behind him, with him between the wide receiver running from left to right on his right and the offensive line. And then he blind pitched a no-look shovel pass back to the inside. It was Tyreek, I think he got it to, who then just went in because nobody was looking at him. It was an incredibly gutsy play call, not just to design, but to execute.
Yeah, Taylor Swift wasn't there. Nobody was watching that game.
That's not entirely
You
wrong.
might have been the only one who saw it.
Now, I think like once it got to the Dolphins have scored 45 and there's still 10 minutes left in the third quarter, I think we were all in.
No, again, disrespectful putting that many points up on another NFL team. You are putting a bullseye on your back to the degree you're saying, I don't respect any of you. This is now college, and the NFL will not put up with that. It's going to be some cheap shots. It's going to be it's going to be ugly.
As has been said, if you don't like it, stop it. If you don't like it, stop it.
I thought you said has been. I'm like, who the heck is has been?
I don't think we're disrespecting the defense. I think the defense disrespected itself by allowing them to score 70 points. By the way,
McDaniel, you brought on yourself.
He also took a knee because he could have kicked a field goal as time expired to go to 73, which would have been the record for most points scored in a single game all time. And he didn't do it.
Yeah, but if this is the most prolific offense of all time and going to go down in history as the best, they're going to get many of an opportunity to break that record.
They won't get 70 again. They won't get 70 again. Nobody's going to let them get to 70, but I'll tell you, they're going to get to 40 a handful of times. They might get to 50 once or twice again before the season's over. Because on top of that, I love this. Albert Breer was tweeting about this game as it was happening, right? Because there was a lot of words being thrown around like explosive and dynamic and quick. And Albert Breer pointed out at halftime of that game that I'm doing this off the top of my head. I think I'm correct here. 3 of the top 7 fastest plays this year where the ball carrier reached the highest speed were Miami Dolphins. And it wasn't all Tyreek.
Although I'm pretty sure that I saw somewhere, so it's got to be true. It was on the internet that Xavier Legette was faster than anybody in all of sports Saturday.
Well, not all of sports. Anybody else in football.
Well,
he's not faster than, but I get what you're saying, which I wouldn't doubt.
Yeah,
kid had the fast. I know he's got the fastest.
Usain Bolt may not have been running that day. So, I mean,
Fair. But it wasn't all Tyreek. And so Breer put that tweet out. And like 40 minutes later, he had to revise it because the Dolphins added 2 more. They now have like 7 of the top 10 fastest plays in the NFL this year. That's ridiculous.
I am looking at their schedule, and I don't know. I don't think they put maybe against the Giants, possibly. I mean, the Panthers ain't winning, but they're playing better defense than what was played last week. Yeah, I don't think you're scoring 70 on them.
I won't be so sure because it's not just the defense. It's also how many extra possessions are you giving them?
That's true. And then the defense gets tired.
If Carolina's going to go out and they go 3 and out 7 of their 14 possessions, Miami gets extra possessions. They don't waste them.
I will be a believer in them if they can go out and put, half that many points on the Bills this Sunday in a game that you can actually hear right here on the Fan Upstate.
I'm not super concerned about their ability to score on Buffalo. It's just going to be who wins the shootout, right? And as of right now, I got no reason to believe it's not the Miami Dolphins at this point. Buffalo has one loss. It was to the Jets. Obviously, that was a very emotional night for New York. It was also rainy and gross. They put 38 on the Raiders. They put 37 on the Commanders. They gave up 10 and they gave up 3, but the Raiders and Commanders ain't the Dolphins. This is the game of the weekend. Not kind of, not may. I am stunned this game. Well, scratch that. I'm not stunned this game is at 1 o'clock because I don't think the schedule makers ever foresaw what this was going to turn into. But here's what I loved about McDaniels in the post-game presser. They said, Mike. And Mike took a big draw off his vape. They said, Mike, this offense you're running, man, it's interesting. We've never really seen anything like it. You got a lot of weird gadgets. You got a lot of weird little tricks and whatnot. What are you doing? And Mike said, paraphrasing, if you ain't breaking the rules, you ain't being ingenuitive.
Yeah, ingenuitive over here.
You got to be ingenuitive.
Yeah,
You ain't being ingenuitive. He said, hey, look, here's the deal. You learn from what other coaches do. You learn from the greats. And then you do stuff different, right? Then you do it differently.
I'm trying to see, you're unhappy with the 1 o'clock game. Can they flex it to Sunday or Monday night?
I think the flexes don't come in until later in the
season. So, Chiefs Jets Sunday night would have been the matchup that day. Would have been if Aaron Rodgers was playing.
Aaron Rodgers was playing.
Now, the Monday night game is Seahawks Giants. Yeah, you could put it there.
Seahawks Giants. Can't wait. I would rather listen, I'm going to say this and I'm going to say it very clearly. I would rather watch Miami Buffalo than any other game on the slate this weekend. Any other game. There's no other game on the slate I want to watch more than Miami versus Buffalo. I want to watch Miami Buffalo more than I want to watch New Orleans Tampa. And that's my team, bro. Because this shootout of a game is going to be a ball. It's going to be blast, man. I can't wait. So, what I like about Mike is that Mike does enough traditional football, and then he just hits you with something wild. He hits you with a blocking scheme you haven't seen them do before. He hits you with the blind Jason Williams circa 2011 backward shovel pass, right? He hits you with stuff you never see coming. And then he's got all these ridiculously stupid fast guys on the outside that take the ball in ways we haven't seen before and burn you with them. When Sean Payton took over the New Orleans Saints alongside Drew Brees back in 2006, they won a Super Bowl 3 years later. Why? Because what Sean Payton then was doing with the Saints offense and Drew Brees was new. Not that there had never been a spread pro style offense before. But the route combinations, the route trees that Sean Payton was put together and utilizing were relatively new. Didn't hurt that he had maybe the most accurate passer in the history of the National Football League throwing into those route trees. But the way that Sean Payton was combining routes, the way that Sean Payton was combining those routes to open up screens for Pierre Thomas and Reggie Bush and Deuce McAllister was next level. What's happening to Sean Payton now? That was 13 years ago, 14 years ago. Now, even with Russell Wilson, Sean Payton's offense doesn't do that anymore because that is now just common. Everybody does it.
I disagree. You put a different quarterback in his system other than one that's overrated and washed up. Maybe it would be a little more accurate to see if it still works.
I mean, I am not going to fight you on that opinion because I can't prove it to the contrary, but the Broncos are 0-3. They've lost to the Raiders and the Commanders and gave up 70 against the Dolphins.
When's the last time a team went 0? This will be the first time a team went 0-17, right? No team has done that
Correct.
yet.
We've had 2 0-16s. Tampa did it once and Detroit did it once.
I want to see an 0-17. I think Denver's the team to do it. Denver can get us there. I want to believe. It's either Denver or Chicago, but they play each other. So it's, I think, like
Denver-Chicago plays this week.
Yeah.
That takes one out of the mix.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, a tie would be amazing.
Yeah, but that's still not a loss.
Denver's going to win this game.
That's still not a loss. That wouldn't count as because it's tie is half a loss, half a
Denver's
win.
going to win in the next 2 weeks because they're at the Bears and then back home for the Jets. Then they got Chiefs. Then they got Chiefs, Packers, Chiefs, Bills, Vikings, Browns, Texans, Chargers, Lions, Patriots, Chargers, Raiders. Not great, Jim. Not great. I think when you look at Sean Payton, and you look at what Sean Payton did with the Saints in the beginning of his career, when what he was doing was new and there was some ingenuity to it, there was some cleverness to it. Then, because this is how everything works, when something works, everybody copies it. They copy it, they put their own little twist on it, and then it becomes mainstream. And I think that, to some degree, is what happened with Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton thought he was going to come back to Denver, and he was just going to roll out that offense and once again take over the world with it. It's like, dude, everybody knows it now. You did that in New Orleans for what? 14 years? You did it in New Orleans? We all know it. We know your offense. You got to go back to the drawing board. McVay went, all right, let me take a little chunk of what Sean Payton did, a little chunk of what Bill Belichick does, a little chunk of what Andy Reid does. Take a little chunk of all of that. And then I'm going to break it and put it back together my way. Ladies and gentlemen, the 23 Miami Dolphins came into this year. I would have assumed, if you'd have asked me back before week 1, what team, Rob, are you going to be talking about on Tuesday morning as you get set up for week 4? And I think the responses would have been Chiefs, Jets, Bills, 49ers. Instead, talking about the Miami Dolphins. I love Mike McDaniels, and I love what he's doing right now. Now, one of the other things, if you go back and watch this game that you'll notice, one of the other things, oh, that's right. Texter says, Rob, there's only been one 0-16 team, the Lions. The Bucs went 0-14. That is correct. Good call. Good save. Thanks, Texter. You are correct. The other thing you'll pick up about the Dolphins is they are selling out to protect Tua Tagovailoa, which is the right call. They are selling out to protect Tua. They are taking a run route out of their passing options for Tua to keep an extra man in there. However many you are showing at the line, Miami's going to make sure they have that many covered up. But what are they making it up with? Tyreek, see, this is something I think, Lonzo, and you tell me if I'm wrong here, but I don't think I am. I think when Tyreek was with Kansas City, one of the very few mistakes that Andy Reid has made was, I think, Tyreek, and granted, you had guys like Travis Kelce there, but Tyreek was used as a what? A vertical wide receiver. Just gone. He's running a 9.
See, I disagree with you. He did some short routes and turned them into really long runs. I do remember
when you
seeing
say
that.
Short, I mean like 12 yards.
Between 5 and 10 yards,
for
yes.
Tyreek, that's a short route.
Yes.
Yeah, 10-yard route is a short route for Tyreek.
Yeah, it wasn't just all let him go and throw the ball deep and let him get it. No. He turned a lot of shorter passes into long runs. The thing is he wanted the ball more. He said that himself later on, and he wasn't going to get the ball more there because of Kelce and other guys that were there at the time. And because Mahomes wasn't like Cam Newton had to be with Steve Smith, having to force the ball to him because he was worried he was going to get beat up. Because Patrick Mahomes probably not going to beat anybody up.
No.
Well, I don't know. Tyreek Hill might.
If
you're at the marina.
I was going to say Tyreek will if you mess with his boat.
You don't move the boat the right way. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
I think that, and again, I'll go back and I'll do the research on this because I won't lie. I mean, excuse me, I have not. I will. But I think Tyreek, if I gauged percentage of plays where Tyreek was targeted at 10 yards or deeper, I'd bet it's probably north of 60%. Plays where Tyreek is targeted 5 to 10 yards is probably in the ballpark of like 40%, probably 10%, 5 yards or less.
What do you think of pop passes? Do you consider those actual passes?
Pop pass like a quick vert?
Like
a quick slant?
End around pop pass.
No, that's a run.
Okay.
That's a run. It's and again, it's a guess. I'm not saying this is a fact. I'm doing this off the top of my head. But I think what Mike McDaniels is doing is not just utilizing Tyreek as a vertical threat, but he's understanding what Tyreek does when he's not catching the football and what he's doing when you can take advantage of creating that illusion that Tyreek is going deep. Tyreek has caught a ton of over-the-middle passes, which you don't want to send a small speedster like Tyreek across the middle on a short slant, because if he catches that and a linebacker's aware, it's night-night birdie. But they're not doing that with Tyreek. They're sending Tyreek across the middle, but they're utilizing other guys in their speed to clean the middle out, so Tyreek's not getting massacred when he comes across, and then he's turning them into yak yards. This offense that Mike McDaniel's running is impressive. There are other guys who are doing good things. Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco right now is making Brock Purdy look like a genius. And Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. But the offense is perfectly custom made. I am to the point now. I think Justin Fields is washed. All right. I think we're done with the Justin Fields experiment. But if I was gonna move him and I was gonna try him somewhere else, give him one more shot, there's only 2 places I'd send him right now: Miami and San Francisco. That's it. The only other 2 teams that could save a guy like Justin Fields.
I think that Andy Reid could help fix him.
See, I think Andy Reid's a good offensive play caller, but I think Andy Reid has a phenomenal cushion with Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce.
Alex Smith was doing great.
I agree. Alex Smith was a good quarterback until his leg exploded.
No, he had come back from that. He was playing well for Kansas City, and they decided to let him go with Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith was winning. Did he win Super Bowls? No, but he was winning.
I think he was a good quarterback. I think Alex Smith was a good quarterback. Like a pretty good quarterback. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I could play call with Mahomes and Kelce and get us in the playoffs. Honestly. I like Andy Reid. I think he's a great coach. I look at Andy Reid like I look at Nick Saban. Do I think Andy Reid is amongst the top 5 game day X's and O coaches in the league? Not really. Not really. I think he's got so much damn offensive talent that, frankly, it probably doesn't really matter what he calls, right? Pacheco breaking onto the scene. Edwards-Helaire is the backup. Travis Kelce at tight end. The wide receiver talent that has constantly flowed through that city. And Patrick damn Mahomes. I could play call that team into the playoffs. How do you do it when you don't have that talent? How do you do it to where when you don't have that talent, you're successful enough that you then start attracting that talent? San Francisco, Miami. You be innovative. Shanahan, I think, understands the X's and O's better than anybody else. Mike McDaniels, I think, better than anybody else, is like, I don't really care about how it's supposed to be done, how it's always been done. I care about what's going to work. And I would say with 70 on the board this past weekend, it's very clearly working for Mike McDaniels. Let's take a break. We come back here in just a minute. We'll wrap this bad boy up. My name is Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo's on the 1s and 2s. The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is the Fan Upstate.
Great point, James. Chad Henne came in. Looked good.
That's fair. That's a fair argument.
And Chad Henne's like 47 years old.
How old is Chad Henne now?
Let's go with 35.
38.
Ah.
38. Oh, I'm the same age as Chad Henne. Oh.
Wow, Total Wine really does have everything. I found your favorite flavor, an awesome vodka. Oh, and Ruthie. That's me. Always happy to help. Honey, Ruthie found that amazing Cabernet you love.
Oh, yeah. That Cabernet was really good.
And we have it for the lowest price in town.
You gotta get in that coffee. So glad we found Ruthie.
With the lowest prices for over 30 years, you'll always find what you love and love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More.
I mean, if Russell Wilson looked
New breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie bundles let you create your own delicious
update from Andrew Bogusch.
Egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee, or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you
I hit save. What?
choose one of these new 2 for $3.
I swore I hit save.
Do you have heart failure and often hear?
Those stomach issues ruined your birthday. Too tired to play catch, Grandpa? Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your
Padres.
Ask about transdirecting amyloid cardiomyopathy, or
Tom won't be here. So say.
rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. At connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Fall is just around the corner, and home is the center of it all. At Ashley, seasonal decorating is a breeze with their range of designs and materials. Snuggle up on a family-friendly sectional or an ultra-modern sofa. Or gather outside and enjoy the crisp, cool air with a new fire pit or conversation set. From minor refreshes to total overhauls, Ashley has the essentials to make your home fall functional and fabulous. Shop in-store or visit ashley.com today.
MVP's bonus days are back at Lowe's. Shop the largest selection of Klein tools and get 5 times the bonus points. Plus, right now, buy a DeWalt Power Stack battery kit and get a select DeWalt Bear tool free, up to a $249 value. Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Bonus points calculated for taxes and fees after applicable discounts today. Now, 9/18 to 9/29, subject to change. DeWalt up value to the left.
Wow, Total Wine has everything at the lowest price in town. I found the single barrel carpet, an awesome Cabernet, and Ruthie. That's me. Always happy to help. Look what you find at Total Wine & More. Drink responsibly, 21.
This afternoon, periods of clouds and sun, high of 82.
Weather brought to you by Barbasol Shaving Cream. Choose Barbasol Shaving Cream for a thick lather and a close, comfortable shave. Barbasol, the American original for over 100 years. Better buy Barbasol.
From the Ingalls Market Studio,
Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
Wrapping up the Rob Brown Show, ladies and gentlemen. 844-326-3663 if you want to sneak in here before the end of the show. Texture said Andy Reid is living in the now. He was largely a playoff failure at Philadelphia. Texture said, Rob, I am agreeing with Lonzo about Russell Wilson. I think he's washed and done. He's never going to be good again as long as he's quarterback at Denver. Second half of that text cut off. Let me go find it. As long as he is quarterback at Denver, they aren't going to win anything meaningful.
Which
I'm
as
slowly
a
making my way to that.
I was gonna say, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan, I hope they keep both of them for many years to come.
Yeah, I just like I'm not ready to completely give up because I also think I don't think we can understate. There's two things at play here. Number one, I don't think that we can understate the mentality of that franchise because of the Nathaniel Hackett situation. I know Sean Payton took a lot of crap for calling Denver the worst coaching job ever or whatever he called it. And everybody's like, how dare you say that when he's still in? It's like they were. Anybody with eyeballs last year could see that. They fired the dude, didn't even make it through one season, right? Like the only guy to me that's in contention with Herb for worst NFL coaching job of all time. They got to fix that whole thing.
I don't know, Eberflus in Chicago.
That's
it's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad. You're not wrong. That is pretty trash. I don't know, man. Like I don't want to blame it on him, but he's got the wide receivers. And they could probably upgrade the running back spot a little bit and get a little bit better. But outside of that, you might be right, man. You might be right.
All right, it is time to ask Rob what the X is going on. He's going to let everybody know what the X is going on. That's how that works. You ask, and he's going to answer. The first thing is Xing, yo, is Britney Spears.
Okay, so I do not know specifically why she is trending right now. But there's only two possible reasons.
Oh no, there's a reason that you're not going to think of. There's absolutely a reason.
Okay, that means it's not her birthday.
No.
Okay.
She did release a video.
Did she get naked on the internet?
Oh no.
Okay.
No. She is dancing with kitchen knives. Big ones. Like Michael Myers knives.
Yeah.
It's dude. No.
It's not great.
It's not.
But I think you have to keep in mind, and I'm not saying that this is right or wrong.
She dances well because she's Britney.
But
still.
It's Britney bleep. All right. You got to keep in mind, Britney's entire career has been based around what? Shocking people into paying attention to her. Whether it was her decision or not. But you go back to the Baby One More Time days. How did Britney break on the scene as a singles artist? By putting on a tiny skirt in a schoolgirl's outfit and dancing very provocatively on television and getting the old people to get the vapors and clutch their pearls. And all of a sudden, Britney becomes one of the best-selling female solo artists of all time. This is just the next step of I have to shock people to keep attention on me, and it worked.
Dude,
here we are.
Dude, look at the video. She's dancing with butcher knives.
Okay, but do you understand? You are shocked about it right now. That's the point.
No, I'm worried. That's
right.
Yeah. That's I guess you can be shocked without being worried.
Sure. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not concerned about Britney. I think she caught a raw deal in life, to be quite honest with you. But the reality is she's got to, in order to continue being Britney, have people paying attention to her. The only way that's going to happen now is to get people to still be shocked. The only thing I'm worried about is she's slinging these big-ass knives around with those three little dogs walking around. One of them dogs catches a stray live on the internet. We got problems.
Yeah, I'm more worried about her catching a stray, like slipping or something and cutting herself.
The risk you take to be an artist, Lonzo.
Okay, all right. I don't want to be that kind of artist. The next thing it's Xing,
That's
yo.
why you ain't Britney Spears. She is.
You're right, I'm not. I would say the hair is comparable, though. Tom Holland is Xing, yo.
I got nothing. I got no idea why Spider-Man's trending.
It's funny you should say that, because from what I can tell, the reason why he is Xing is because Secret Wars is coming up, and it's just been put out there that Spider-Man will be the lead in Avengers Secret Wars.
That checks out. That makes sense. As somebody who is obviously Peter Parker, not Tom Holland, as somebody who is very tuned in to all the heroes that he's around, it would make sense that he's the one that would be most impacted by the potential plot lines of the Secret Wars.
Well, here's a secret. We're going to throw this guy out. Nobody knows who he is now. So
that's also true.
I mean, there's, I guess there's that. The last thing is,
I didn't really love the ending of that. Like,
yeah, no, I didn't either. It really bothered me.
Yeah.
All right. The last thing is is Chevy Chase.
So Chevy Chase, one of my favorite comedians of all time, turns out he's kind of a jerk in real life. People who have worked on him, he was in a show called Community, which you haven't watched. One of my favorite shows of all time is Community. I love them. I love that show very much. And everybody who worked on that show said that Chevy Chase is impossible to work with. He's just a bad dude, which is too bad. I have no idea why he's trending. Is he in Secret Wars? Is he the new Spider-Man?
Yeah. He's an older version of it. Apparently he didn't think Community was funny enough for him.
Yeah, like I said, Community was hilarious. He just didn't get it. And if he doesn't get it, nobody should get it. Cranky asshole, man. All right, that's it for us, y'all. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. We're back tomorrow. Rashad Beard will join us tomorrow. Talk Carolina playoff football and more. For Lonzo, I'm Rob. See you back here tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Later. Yeah. Oh, man. We did it, everybody. We did it.
Oops.
Congratulations to us.
Oops.
What are we oopsing?
We did it again.
Played with my heart. Got lost in the game. Oh, baby, baby. Oops. You think I'm in love. That I'm sent from above. I'm not that innocent.
Hey, a little pitchy dog. Just a little pitchy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think my problem is this. Bum. All right, that's enough.
Said everyone.
Correct. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a lovely rest of your day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Tell your friends about it. Goodbye.